how we doing, guys? I tell you what, I'm glad I've got a stream this afternoon because it's 2 o'clock here and it's absolutely chucking it down outside. I'm looking out the window there, and you might even hear a bit of thunder because it's actually thundering and lightning as well. Right, okay, let's start saying hello to everybody. I tell you what, this shirt's a bit tight on me. I didn't realise I must have put on more weight than I thought. I'll open it up a bit. Don't have loads of hairs sticking out the front. Okay, right, who's first in? First in, Crypto Chris, as always, first in. And second in, Perbert. How you doing, Perbert? Good that you make a stream. Phil Groombridge, is it? Good morning, how you doing? Holden fan, third from me. Hi, Peter and Binto. Yeah, look at the state of my arm, look. That's Binto's done that, because I grab him by he likes to play rough, you know, but his nails are so sharp, even if I cut them, they're really sharp. Willie, how you doing? Greetings from Los Angeles, California. Let me just get rid of that. Okay. Haven't got anybody in from Facebook yet, no. Uncle Willie, yeah. Be happy, Pat. Hello from a heated north of France. Yeah, it's quite hot in Europe at the moment, isn't it? I've heard reports of Germany giving out... were they giving out? No, they had one of those water cannons and they were spraying people in the park because it was like 40 degrees. I mean, that's the same as here. They don't have that humidity though, do they? 999, good morning from Sweden. Good to see you in. The American Bridge, how you doing? Put you up there. Phil Joycey, hi. Eric Whitefield, how you doing? Gringo Poppy, greetings from a warm midnight in Seattle. Sir Hopkins, okay, thank you, very formal there. Yeah, everybody gets my surname from my private Facebook page. I don't really use the private one too much. Look at that, straight in with the $10 from Perbit. Thank you very much. You do it every week, and it is appreciated. Okay. I just made I put a post up on Facebook. I did. It's amazing the criticism you get from internet experts. I made a homemade Chinese style chicken chow mein, and it was pretty good. You know, I got the yellow noodles, the pak choy, the onions, the spring onions. The sauces are important. A spoonful of light soy sauce, 2 spoons of dark soy sauce, oyster sauce, a little bit of water, and it tasted pretty good, and it looked almost like the real thing. I didn't quite put enough sauce in because it was a bit lighter. It should have been a bit darker, and obviously I don't put in MSG like they do in the UK Chinese shops. But I had a guy wrote, and he just says, oh, the pepper is the #1 ingredient. You can't forget, and where's the bean sprouts? I don't see any bean sprouts, and the menu I followed didn't use bean sprouts. You know, I know you can get them with bean sprouts, but it's always amazing how many internet experts come out on to criticize my home food cooking and stuff like that, you know. Toby Price, raining in Chonburi as well. We don't get much rain here in Hua Hin. This is the first real heavy downpour for about a week. I've seen videos of other towns around Thailand absolutely flooded. Thai American Bridge, 47 at work today. Wow, that is hot. You're out there in the desert, though, aren't you? Pravel, good afternoon. Hello, fellow viewers. How many we got in now? 70 in now. That's good, growing. Okay, good. Somebody from Facebook. Simon Potts, good afternoon. How you doing? I went to a do yesterday. It was a kind of Sean at Sunset Scooters and Big Bikes down the road, Highway 3818. Johnny was there. Johnny Asia, he calls himself now. Used to be Johnny Something's Happening. They had a chat with him, but they're bringing in Indian motorcycles. They're going to start selling the Indian motorcycles from there as well. I mean, they're expensive bits of kit, but they're real nice. They're on a par with Harley Davidson. But I was there yesterday afternoon, and they had a bit of an event going on, and yeah, it was pretty good, pretty good. Who else? Well, Gringo Pappy, has the chicken chow mein been fully consumed? No, a big portion. I put a whole bag of noodles in there. Sawn had a plate full. I had a plate full, and there's a big plastic tub of them. I'll eat it again tonight. You know, I don't mind having it twice in a day if it's nice. One thing that annoyed me a little bit about it, though, I went for an Indian the other day, Indian meal with a couple of friends, and I said, "Do you want me to bring you some back?" And she said, "Yeah." And I brought just a portion of Indian Madras curry, which is about 400 baht, but I only ate half my naan bread and half the yellow rice, so I didn't buy any more. But it's been in the fridge for 4 days and she hasn't eaten it, you know. And I'm like, well, why did you tell me to buy it? You know, it's not cheap. I won't eat it. I've had enough curry this week. I was in a mall yesterday in Market Village. I mean, the prices are just amazing down there. I had some chicken tikka, it's like a dry chicken, and a bit of naan bread and some mint sauce to go on top of it. 89 baht. I mean, 89 baht, that's like £2, $2.50. Where would you get a meal in the UK for £2? Okay, 999 Tay says he's come back to Thailand in December. That's a good time to come. It's high season, so it should be a bit cooler. My daughters should be here in November, hopefully. Gringo Pappy, none for Binto. No, she spoils him. I say, look, because he turns his nose up at his own food. I give him what we do. We buy a whole chicken from Big C, ready cooked, because it's just as cheap as buying pouches. You get pouches of dog meat, and what happens? Those pouches, they're full of chemicals and additives and coloring and everything like that. So better to get a fresh chicken, right? And it works out about the same price. And then we give him a bit of that each week. But we mix it in with some dry food. That's his main meal. But she feeds him from the table. And I keep saying to her, don't feed him. And then she'll say to me, oh, he's not eating his dinner. He's eating the chicken, but he's not eating the rest of it. And he's very clever, and I keep saying to her, if you keep feeding him, he's clever. He's going to think, well, I'm not going to eat this, because then she'll feel sorry for me and she'll give me some real food, some proper human food, as it were. And but she doesn't listen, she just keeps doing it. Jim, how you doing? Good morning, Peter. And wow, I caught a live stream. Those two shirts I bought, because most people who see me, they think I'm quite a small guy, but I'm actually 6'1", and I find it difficult to buy polo shirts like this. When I'd lost about 10 kilos, I bought this, but you can see it's a bit tight now. And I went with Jim and we went to Pratanam, because they've got a big man shop there. And I bought a couple of polo shirts, and they weren't cheap. They were about 500 baht each, something like that. And I wore them once, washed them, and the elasticity, is that what the word? Is completely gone. So if I try and wear them now, they kind of hang down, look stupid, and they feel uncomfortable. So total waste of money, but never mind. Who's giving me that now? Somebody's just given me a super chat. Uncle Willie B was going to send you 100 yuan from Beijing last week, but couldn't figure out how to do so. So here you go. Thanks very much, Uncle Willie B. A bit thin on the ground these days, the old super chats. I remember when I was doing for my garage during COVID, I used to get a lot of them. Who haven't we said hello to? Glenn Hotspur, how you doing? Morning, Peter. Hope you're well. I loved seeing your guard dog protecting you and your property from the evil bin men lorry yesterday. Yeah, he's quite protective of the house, but he's a little bit of a coward. So what he'll do, he'll stand back like the bin men. The bin men were outside the gate, obviously, with a truck, and he's really back where the car is, barking at them. And as soon as the bin lorry moves off, he goes to the gate. He's a bit of a coward. If they came in, he'd probably crap himself. Mark Hess, how you doing? Hello from Belgium. Hope to share a drink with you when I come back. Absolutely. Just give me a bit of notice. I can't do weekends because I'm tied up with YouTube. Tonight I'm going out to film the official opening of a kind of West End bar here. I'm going out to film that, and then tomorrow I'm going out to film some apartments with an agent here just to show prices and everything. So weekends are a little bit difficult, but I do like meeting people. I think I'm meeting somebody tomorrow night, actually. Robert, how you doing? Hello from Florida. Tube 9230. How difficult was it to date your current girlfriend, considering the language barrier in the beginning? Yeah, the first year was quite difficult, but don't forget, I won't pretend that I could speak fluent Thai. She didn't speak a word of English, nothing, and I could speak at a level where I couldn't string sentences together like I can now. My Thai has really come on since I've lived with her. So the first year was difficult because you've got language, Google Translate and all that sort of thing. But where it gets difficult is when you want to have a serious conversation about something, if you're just asking somebody what do they want to eat for dinner on a Google app, language app, it's simple enough, isn't it? But when you try and engage in a real, a serious conversation about something, it just doesn't work, and it's so frustrating. And you tell the other person they don't get it, or she'll say it to me and I don't get it. So it was. But her level of English has come on a lot now. She's not fluent speaking, but she understands a lot of words. My Thai has really come on. So we're still at the point we can communicate quite well now after 3.5 years, but it's still frustrating when we want to talk about something serious, like health insurance, for instance, or something like that, or money that she's owed by the hospital. It is difficult. I'll be honest with you. It's not as easy as dating somebody who can speak the language, as it were. I think that's why a lot of guys fall for bar girls, because they don't speak English. They come over here. The bar girls all speak. Let me just say thank you to this very generous man here. Who's that? The American Bridge. Been really swamped with work prepping for getting back to Bangkok in November and getting the non-immigration O visa. I haven't had much time to chat. Go and have some lunch on me. Thank you. Continuous service to our work. Thank you very much, Jesse. I hope you don't mind me calling you by your name there. You've always been very generous. I still remember when you paid for the 2 tickets for me and Sean to come on the river cruise, New Year's Eve. That must have been 3 years ago. And I do appreciate it. Thank you very much. I will grab some lunch with that. So I was talking about the bar girls, right? I think that's what happens with guys out there, because people will say, how do these guys get mixed up with bar girls and go-go dancers? And I do believe a lot of it's to do with the language barrier, because the girls who work in the bars, they're used to speaking English with customers, and the guys start speaking and they're having a good time. They go out and they have drinks and stuff, and they see them a few times, and before you know it, they end up, some of them move in with these girls, and then it's Saturday morning story time, isn't it? Who's that on Facebook there? Rohit Kumar, how you doing? Nice to see you in the stream. 999, I'll call you, I think. Was thinking about going to Phuket, but all the crap going on there and the traffic jams makes it feel a bit off, and it's quite expensive. Whenever I've spoken about Phuket before, it's a beautiful island. I went there 25 years ago before it was totally unspoiled. It was totally unspoiled there, but there's about 8,000 Russians living in Phuket right now. I'm not saying that as a race thing. I'm just saying you've got to be aware of that. There's a lot of them about. Okay, the traffic is absolutely murder now. Apparently, it's very, very bad. The traffic, it's expensive, and I just think there's nicer places to go. I'm not talking about Pattaya, but you've got Rayong and Prambury and some Hua Hin. There's lots of places to go. I wouldn't say don't go there, but it's something to think about. Watch videos, because everybody I've spoken to who've been down there said, it's not the same. He is Thai American. He is a coward. Holden fan was going to come out next March with a friend, but my mum is having a milestone birthday in January and wants to go to the Gold Coast. So the Gold Coast it is. Fair enough. Nice of you to think of your mother before yourself there first. How many we got in now? Over 100. Good. So I don't know what we're going to talk about today. I was talking to somebody earlier. I said, I don't know what I'm going to talk about. Saturdays, I don't prepare anything. Sunday streams, I prepare a lot of stuff, and then I can, if I don't have any comments come in, I kind of dry up. I don't know what to talk about. I've been tired lately, really tired. So I found out what the problem was. I went on antibiotics last week because I was feeling really tired and run down all the time. And what it was, because I get quite a runny nose. I never used to get it in Bangkok, but I get a runny nose and I sneeze a lot. And my girlfriend said, I've got some tablets to take care of them. It's histamine, is it? And I took one of them or 2 of them every day for about 4 days, and I didn't relate it. And I just couldn't keep my eyes open. I was like the Walking Dead. And that's why I didn't do the member stream last week. And I was sleeping for like 10 hours straight. Then I'd get up, I'd have a cup of tea, and I'd lay on the sofa and sleep for another couple of hours. It was them damn tablets she gave me. I didn't realize, but they could knock out a horse. So, I'll never take them again. But I was getting really worried. I went to a pharmacy. They gave me some antibiotics, and I thought maybe I'm having liver failure or kidney failure. What makes your body weak? I was quite concerned about it. And then as soon as I come off them tablets, I felt right as rain again, So, not very nice. Jonas, how you doing? Gringo Pop Go Pappy says very tragic news earlier today about the shooting. How's the local sentiment there? Yeah, if you haven't heard what's happened, there was a kid, some school kids locked him in a toilet. I forget whereabouts it is, Nonthaburi maybe. And he come back to school with a gun the next day, and he shot a lot of people, and several people died. And it's a really big story here, because you normally don't hear stuff like that. People going into schools and shooting. I mean, the last big kind of shooting they had here was I don't know if it was the last one, but I remember there was a guy, he walked into one of the malls in Bangkok, and he just started shooting. 3 people got killed. But it's just not the sort of thing you expect to hear about in Thailand, is it? And then he turned the gun on himself and gun himself in, as it were. So I don't know how local sentiment must be feeling like really bad. I haven't spoken to any Thais, but yeah, they certainly, if it happened in your country, you'd feel it, wouldn't you? It's scary stuff, it's scary stuff. You send your children to school and they don't come back. How do I say that? G Cop, is it? Got back from Phuket on Sunday. Still a great place, but seemed a lot quieter than the same time last year. So it will be quiet now anyway, regardless, because it's low season right now, isn't it? What we're in now, we're into August. I can't believe how fast the time goes. I mean, I was saying to Simon last year, I used to go to his house every like a couple of Christmases in a row because I was on my own, and his whole extended family were there, and we had a roast and Christmas, and it was good. But we were saying to each other the other day, it's amazing. It's Christmas, it's over, it's January. Think that's it for another year, and it's going to be. I'm sure the supermarkets in the UK are all already advertising something from Christmas. Perbit, Airbnb or hotel, what's your choice? Depends on the length of time you come in for. Obviously, if you're coming for a month or more, probably an Airbnb is a better choice, unless you can get a good deal. Talking about Christmas, which is a bit too early to talk about Christmas, but what was a tradition in our house when I was growing up? My mother always used to buy a big tin of Quality Street, and when I say a big tin, they were a big tin. They were about, I'd say, let's get this right now. Just happen to have a ruler here, so I'd say the tin was about, the tin was about 6 inches to 6.5 inches tall. It was tin, metal, not plastic. And it lasted as a whole family. It lasted us for a week. It was full. You could put your 2 hands into this Quality Street and there'd be loads there. And now it's shrank so much over the years. They sell them for a £5 now, don't they? And it's like the tub is like that high. You open it up and it's half empty. It's just gone, hasn't it? That's a shame. That was a good tradition, that. And there is a lot of shrinkage going on by the companies, isn't there? They're hiding it. What they do, they purposely package it in such a way where you might think you're getting 3 chocolate bars because there's a picture of a chocolate bar in the middle. You open it up and that's all it was, a picture. There's 2, because they don't want to put their prices up because they want to be able to compete with other manufacturers. So they shrinkage and they hide it, and it's very deceptive. You say, I hate shrinkage. There's some good videos on it on YouTube. It is shocking, the way they hide things. Anything from like a plastic bottle of something, you look underneath and it's almost like a tennis ball underneath. It's so much round. I'll tell you what else is scary as well. Have you seen those videos on chocolate where, chocolate traditionally, you take it and it snaps, doesn't it? If it's cold, it snaps. You put it in a saucepan and put the gas underneath it. It liquefies, doesn't it? Not anymore. I've seen videos where guys get this chocolate and it's like rubber. The same with bread in America. This girl made a video and she says, watch this. And she took a slice of bread in England, she put it under the tap, rolled it about a bit, and it fell to bits like bread does. And she got some American bread, did the same thing, put water on it, squeezed it like a sponge, actually did that with it, and it just opened up again like a slice of bread. Nothing wrong with it. What's happening to the food these days? Terrible. Thai American, Airbnb is pretty good. I booked 2 of them for a month in December for friends who will be visiting me in Bangkok. I booked quite a long ways out, but great condos for a whole month under $1,500 US. Yeah, well, you've always been a very good planner as well, Jesse. Robert, how you doing, mate? Morning, Peter. Love the shirt. You definitely lost weight. Well done. Keep watching the market videos. Love it. Hope it did well. Yeah, it did. Like I explained last week, I did lose weight, but I put it back on again. No, I'm still about 5 kilos down saying that. So I was talking about the videos I make. I've moved away from the kind of manga style videos I used to do back in England during COVID, and I've gone more towards retirement, informational, apartment prices, insurance, visas, all that sort of thing. But every now and again, I'll go out and do a video on something that's, I think, is fairly interesting. So the other week, I went out and I filmed 4 night markets, where you can eat food, it's cheap. You can buy a big bottle of beer for 70 baht. And I did it all in one night. Excuse me. I started off at 6:30 and I finished about 11 o'clock. And then I edited it all. There's a lot of editing. And I think it was a good video. But I actually predicted, and I said, I bet it doesn't do many numbers. I said, I bet it does low. And let me have a quick look. So I put it out. So I did, well, first, just to compare it, I did one called 20 Things Thai People Secretly Laugh At About Foreigners. And it was just a bit of fun, really. I just sat here and talked to the camera. It took me half an hour to do it. That was a week ago. It's had nearly 17,000 viewings, okay? The market one I did, which was a lot of effort. I went out on my bike, went all around Hua Hin, filmed it all and everything, put that out about 4 days ago. It's done 2,300 viewings. I don't know why those sort of videos don't work on my channel. Stories. I did one on Prambury Beach. Prambury is a beautiful, beautiful beach town about 30 minutes south of Hua Hin. So if you were here and you were on your scooter, you could do it. And it's so much nicer than the beaches here in Hua Hin. I put that out about 2 weeks ago and it's done 2,700 viewings. It's like, but then I've done 3 real Thai stories that changed everything. 25,000. Maybe I just concentrate on the stories. I don't know. What do you think? Shrinkflation. That's it. The American Bridge, not as good as lease for 3 to 6 months at 15-30K baht, but for a tourist staying about a month, Airbnb can be decent. The problem is when you try and get a lease for 3 and 6 months, it's very, very difficult because most apartments, well, all of them that I've come across in houses, they want to do a year lease. They won't do 3 months or 6 months. Your only option really is Airbnb or a hotel room. Not saying it's impossible, but in my experience, most of them all of them I've dealt with, they didn't want less than a year. Booked a room. Okay. Right. Raymond Spencer, Australian guy with the suitcase, the 2 Russian kids, plus family of 3, then the school shooting yesterday. What's happening? Yeah, well, they're 2 completely different. It's just 2 completely different set of circumstances, isn't it? So the first one, the Russians, that was an Australian guy, and they think he might be linked to more. Okay, so that's that one. Well, the other one was totally Thai. It was a Thai kid. He felt belittled, being locked in a broom cupboard or whatever it was. It happens now and again in Thailand. It's not a perfect society, is it? It happens in every country in the world. But I'd rather take my chances here than, say, I don't know, somewhere else. Perbert, have prices really gone up, or is it just TikTok bullshit? It's a yes and a no scenario. So if you go to go-go bars, which I know you do, and you're entertaining the ladies, it can be quite expensive. But if you know what you're doing, like again you do, it can be very reasonable. But normal day things that you would do as if you lived here, things like taking taxis, a bus from here to Bangkok, for instance, is a 3.5-hour journey. It's 240 baht. You wouldn't get around the corner in England for that. Taxis now, you can use Grab and Bolt. They give you a fixed fare. There's no more of that. Put the meter on. It's like, oh, my meter's broken. It's 300 baht. Jumping. I once got in 7 taxis before I actually got one to put the meter on. And the reason I got in 7 because I was going over to see Simon, and on a meter it's about 220 baht to Bangwa. And these guys were quoting me 500 and 600 baht. And I was like, no way. And I actually got in and out of 7. It was a 7th taxi that took me. But in answer to your question, if you eat Western food, it can be expensive. Thai food is still relatively cheap. So I think a lot of it is bullshit, like you say, because it still can be reasonable. The American Bridge, me too, Peter. My wife's making me fat. She's on a bacon sourdough bread kick this week. Okay, well, mine hardly cooks. It's me who does the cooking. She's offered to cook, but it's not. There's no point cooking Thai food at home. It's so cheap down here. I mean, we can go across the road to our local market. Okay, they got it's like a mini bank on Poor. You've got food courts all the way around the edges. A live band. I can get a large beer for 65 baht or a draft pint of Chang. I think it's about 70. And she can get a plate of pad Thai or fried rice or all the dishes, 50 baht. What's the point in cooking 50 baht? That's like £1.10 or $1.25. By the time you've used the gas and you've taken the time, you've gone out and bought the raw ingredients. The only stuff the reason I cooked the chow mein, I just wanted to have a go at it because I miss Chinese takeaway food. That's about one of the only things that I miss about the UK. There's a couple of places here that you can get it. I just haven't bothered going because I've heard, I won't tell you why I haven't bothered going. But I just fancy trying it. But most of the time, if I cook Western food like lasagnas or pasta dishes, just stuff like that, because they can work out. I mean, if you're on holiday, you don't care, do you? If you saved up your holiday money, you'll come out here, and if it's 350 baht, 400 baht, you won't care. But, when you live here, you can't afford to do that. Oh, I could, but it'd be just wasteful. Holding fan, I remember Quality Street chocolates. Yum. We used to get the Danish biscuits in the tin containers. Do you remember those? Yeah, they were nice. Companies are quick to shrink the quantities of products, but jack the prices. I remember when I was a kid, I got hiding off my dad. He actually died when he was 47, quite young, of a heart attack. He wasn't my real dad. I was adopted, right? And but I remember he gave me a thrashing one Christmas Day. I deserved it because it was me and my adoptive sister. She wasn't my real sister either. And so the Quality Street used to have a strip of sellotape around the lid to stop to show that it was brand new, right? So my mother would get it months in advance and she'd stick it under a bed in the spare room. So of course, me and my sister went up there and we found a roll of sellotape. Okay, so we took the sellotape off, took a couple of the Quality Street each. I put the sellotape back round again. It looked new, and you wouldn't notice any were missing. Well, the problem with that is we did that like nearly every day for about 2 weeks. When Christmas come, he picked up the tin of Quality Street, or my mother did, and it was like 2 chocolates in there or something. Boy, oh boy, was he upset. I remember another time as well. You know, in those days, in the 70s and 80s, all families used to have like a little drinks tray, and you'd have these drinks. You wouldn't hardly see them now. I suppose you would if you look for them. I don't really notice them, but you know, that yellow egg, is like a thick yellow, I don't know what it is, in Cinzano Bianco and all these fancy cocktail drinks, I don't know. And we went into, that was in the dining room in our house, and I remember me and my sister, very young, we took a sip of every single one to see what they're like. And because we were kids, we got absolutely drunk. We couldn't walk, you know. God almighty. Michael Max, how you doing? Great chat and advice. Are you liable for any Thai taxes? Well, I don't generally talk about my own personal stuff as far as money goes. I know I have a YouTube channel and all the rest of it, but what I will say in a broad sense is that, yeah, everybody's supposed to pay tax here, even foreigners. I'll leave it at that, okay? Chomeri, 8616, Thailand bound, you seem like some, is this going to be an insult? You seem like someone who's got money, but how come you don't travel much inside or outside of Thailand, such a beautiful region and country? You don't know me then, do you? Because I spent 30 years traveling around the world. I worked for a hotel company called Accor, and there isn't many countries in the world I haven't been to. When I first started going abroad, they sent me out to the Middle East, okay? I was in Dubai, Bahrain, Abu Dhabi, Syria, Damascus in Syria I went to, Europe, Norway, France, come out to Asia, South Korea, Singapore, Hong Kong, where else? The Philippines, Indonesia. I first came to Thailand. I went up to Khon Kaen for 2 years. I left there in 1996 after opening a brand new hotel. I've traveled all over Thailand over the years. I'm 66 now. I'm settled down with my girlfriend. I'm actually enjoying just making the most of Hua Hin and enjoying my time and relaxing. I've got no desire to go all over the world now. In fact, last year, me and my girlfriend, we went to Siem Reap. That was before the Troubles happened, because she'd never been out before, and to Cambodia. So we decided to go to visit Angkor Wat and the Tomb Raider Temple. We went on Pub Street 2 nights, had some good food, good beer, 18 baht a beer. So to ask me really why I don't travel, I don't think you really know my background, because if you did, you wouldn't ask me that. Right, Gringo Poppy, Western food, hands up, Thai food police incoming. Yeah, that's on Facebook again. It's, you know, every time I have a Thai meal, it's like, you're in Thailand, why aren't you eating Thai food? Get stuffed. Are you the same one who asked me the others? Was that you who asked me? Okay, so all right, I hope that wasn't too harsh, my answer for you there. I wasn't trying to, I was just because you didn't know, right? Right, Peter, do you feel like overall you've been saving a lot of money since moving to Hua Hin? Yeah, I do, absolutely. In fact, I'm saving on average probably. I mean, I'm not being tight. We go out every night, you know, but I'm home by 8:30. I mean, we go out and have, what I normally do is I do what I've got to do in the daytime. Okay, I normally YouTube or live streams or editing, and I like to finish up today. After this, I'm going to go to the gym. I haven't been for about 3 days, just on the running machine, fast walking, a little bit of weights. And then I'm doing some filming tonight. As I say, it's a 1 year official opening of a bar, big bar, which I'm going to film tonight. I know the owner. And then, you know, what we normally like to do is 6 o'clock. I like to get out of the house. We go to a local market or something. We have some food. I'll have 2 pints of beer. I come home about 8 o'clock, 8:30. I have a shower. 9 o'clock, I'm in front of the TV watching YouTube or Netflix or something like that. Probably hit the sack about midnight, a little bit too late, sometimes 12:30. If there's a good movie, I've been known to go to bed at 1:30, which I hate myself for, because I'd rather get up early in the day. The American Bridge, yes, lots of crime. It's really depressing. When I heard the kid was shooting up this school, it took me back to April 20th, 1999, when Columbine happened. I hope Thailand's not like America in 20 years. Oh, you don't know, do you? This is a problem. That's another thing I like about living down here in Hua Hin. You know, I mean, the chance, well, it could happen anywhere, I guess, but it's quite quiet down here as far as, you know, malls and stuff. I didn't put any salt in the chow mein. It must be the sauces. That's it, Advocat. Yeah, horrible drink. But I suppose if you mix it. Do you remember the adverts in the 70s with, what was his name? The guy who played Rising Damp, Rossiter, was it? Leonard Rossiter. Him and who was the woman again? Joan Collins, and they'd be on an aircraft and she'd go back and the drink would go everywhere. Show my age now. Warnings, eggnog was the yellow drink. Okay, yeah. You don't tend to see that kind of stuff anymore, do you? Choma again, the Thai American Bridge, lots of crime, but many expats seem to live in deny for some reason. Well, do you know what? I would kind of disagree with that, because although they had that shooting, was it yesterday or the day before here in Thailand? And yeah, the Australian guy who murdered that girl. Crime here, we don't, as foreigners, we don't really see it, you know. I mean, in the UK, it's every day, you know, there's people doing things to girls, these gangs, you know, I can't say the word, you know what I mean, who do things to girls, and there's crime, you know, county lines and broccoli gangs, and you just hear about it every day. Here, I never, apart from a big story like this that we were talking about, I don't really hear about crime. Of course, there is crime amongst the Thais, and there are Thais who commit crimes. But, you know, I'm not worried about my house being burgled. Like, if we go out, I'd be worried about the house getting burgled. Here, I'm not. I know I've got cameras and stuff up, but I'm not, you know, our back door, it's like a bedroom door. It'd be so easy to open, you know. But it just, burglary and stuff, it isn't very common here. That's not to say it never happens. Like, what I asked my girlfriend, and she said, you know, if a house is kind of really secluded on its own, and it's normally somebody who knows the family and they know the routine and they know they're going out for a couple of hours, then they'll slip in a window and steal what they can. But actual burglars, where guys go out looking for empty properties and sign of no life, and then they're in and they're out, it just doesn't happen here. It's very rare, put it that way. Okay, Perbert, asked you earlier, but when you have salads, is it okay to rinse the vegetables with tap water? Yeah, I mean, the tap water here is actually, although they say don't drink it, they've actually tested it, and it's quite clean, the tap water here. I mean, I've accidentally drank tap water in a Bangkok hotel. I was thinking about where I was going to go, and I brushed my teeth, and I ran, because I just arrived from England, I ran the tap in, and I filled a tumbler up, a glass, and I drank it, and I thought, oh shit, I've just drank tap water, I'm going to be sick now. Nothing happened to me. But even when I used to go around Simon's, and if he needed some water to put in the gravy or something, he'd take it from the tap. It was going to boil anyway. But yeah, I mean, I don't really eat a lot of salads here, because that's such a lot of preparation, buying the salad and then cleaning it all and then chopping it up. And, you know, when I used to make those nice salads in Bangkok, when my girlfriend was working, she'd come home and there'd be a nice salad waiting for her, you know, and I'd put either tuna or what's that, feta cheese on top. But it took me about an hour and a half by the time I chopped the cheese up, washed the vegetables. The good thing about Thailand now, a lot of the malls, they do salad bars, and the one in Big C here in Blueport is very, very good. You know, they have like, I know it's a salad, but they have some pasta in a nice oil, you know, boiled eggs, whole boiled eggs, all the salads, you know, little baby tomatoes and the nice green leaves and everything. So if I want a salad, I'll tend to go there. I'll just fill up one of those plastic dishes, and I'll say, I'm going to eat it here. They give you a plastic knife and fork, maybe 120, 150 baht. They've got all the sauces there, including vinaigrette dressing, which I have, or olive oil. And it's just not worth washing it. The only thing we wash here is the vegetables. Like, when I made the chow mein, we put in spring onions, pak choy, they were a leafy vegetable, you know, an onion. Well, of course, you have to wash that, but it gets, when you fry it, I would imagine if there is any germs, it burns them away. I've not been sick. When was the last time I was sick here? I did get a little bit of a dodgy stomach. What did I eat? Can't remember what it was. Okay, Robert says, that's very upsetting to hear. Please don't stop those videos. They are truly good. What do people want? You can only do so many videos on Pattaya and Soy 6. I find myself speechless. Please don't stop. Well, I'm not going to stop, Robert, because although I say that video's only had 2,500 viewings, that's still a lot of people. So I keep turning the thing up and down. That's why I keep doing this. My CCTV's there. That's why I'm always turning, in case you were wondering. the thing is, Robert, it's like, I say I'm comparing it to maybe the story videos. Like I put a stories out, Saturday morning stories, 12, 15,000 viewings in a week. Okay. Excuse me. That markets video, 2,500 people in a week. Well, I mean, yeah, it's poor numbers for what it compared to the other ones. But even so, 2,500, 3,000 people, you put them in a field, that's a lot of people. So I want to continue to make videos like that because I know people like you do appreciate them. I was just making the point that I don't understand why more people don't like those kind of videos, because they are kind of travel vlog videos. And if somebody's interested in coming here, it shows them what markets are available. I put maps in there as well so they can see exactly where the market is, how much the alcohol is, how much the food is, and so one guy criticized me. He says, oh, he's only interested in the price of beer, he's not interested in Thai culture whatsoever. Well, I mean, I went to the market to show you firstly where they were, what food they offer, the stores, and everybody has a beer, right? Most people. And I compared the price of a big bottle of beer. So I'd go there, so I'd show all the food, and then I'd put a map in, name of the market, here's where it is, and then I'd say a large beer in here is 65 baht. So that's the information you want, isn't it? I don't know what the guy expected me to do. He said he wasn't interested in Thai culture. What was I supposed to do when I go into a Thai market? There's a statue of a Buddha here. I don't know. The history of it, Okay, 999. 5 weeks in Thailand, but flying over there with Emirates, so it's still questionable due to the ongoing war. But I have good hopes. Was cheap tickets, got them 1 month before USA attacked Iran. Well, I watched a post yesterday. I don't know if it's BS, but apparently a deal's been signed and the strait is open. Let me just ask ChatGPT because I've seen it on TikTok. And we'll all know. Right, I've just put in there, what's the latest on the Iran war? Thinking. Hurry up then, give me an answer. Okay, we'll come back to that. It's taking a long time. It has to look at all the news feeds to get its answer. Oh, there we are. Something's got up. I'll check the latest reports. Yeah, it's going through all the TV stations or everything, 9 websites. Right, here we go. As of today, 8th of August, 2026, there are actually some encouraging signs that the Iran war may be moving towards another pause or settlement. The big developments are the US says a deal involving Iran and Oman over the Strait of Hormuz could be announced very soon. The plan would allow commercial shipping to move freely, and in return, the US would lift its blockade of Iran ports, and it goes on and on. So, yeah, I watched a video on TikTok yesterday, but you never know if they're true or not, do you? So it's encouraging because my daughters, I bought the tickets a long time ago. They're going on Qatar Air, and they're going to stop off in Qatar for 2 hours, and they come straight over to Bangkok. Well, they're not coming to Bangkok. They're going to Phuket. I'm not going down there. They want to do some island hopping, so they're going down there for about 3 nights. So I think they're flying from Phuket to Samui, and then they're coming up to Bangkok. I'm meeting them in Bangkok. I've booked 2 hotel rooms, one for them and one for me. And I think I don't want to drive to Bangkok. And I was thinking of taking the train, but they have big suitcases, and it's a very big station to walk through. I mean, it's massive. It's like an airport. I think what I'm going to do is just book a Bolt taxi. It's about 2,000 baht, and just come down like that. We can go back on the bus. We'll see. Not sure what that's about. You spell check Warnix. Okay. Michael Max. Hi, Peter. As Westerners, we find Thai local food very cheap, but do local Thai people think it's also cheap, or do they also compare about the cost of living? So the thing with the Thais, they're very frugal with money. They're very good with money. And if you see a restaurant, it's absolutely full, you can guarantee that restaurant will be very cheap. And there's several restaurants that I drive by or ride by on my bike, and they're absolutely full. And I'll say to my girlfriend, why is that restaurant so full? And she says, it's cheap and it's good. So they know the markets to go. There's a market down the road from me. It's they sell a lot of fresh vegetables, like before the malls and supermarkets were around. If you wanted vegetables, you go to a big market and there's tables laid out. Well, there's one of those down the road from us, and it's a huge market. And you drive by there about 4 o'clock and it's packed, absolutely packed, because the Thais, they go there because the vegetables are so cheap, even compared to somewhere like Big C, that they go there on the bikes, and it's, sorry about the nose, it's absolutely, packed. And my girlfriend says, shall I go there to buy this stuff? And I'm like, I prefer it from a mall because I know it's much cleaner. It's been cleaned and it's in plastic, isn't it? The thing with the markets, yes, it might be cheap, but I don't have a Thai stomach, and I don't know. You don't know what's been running over it at night, do you? When it's been in boxes. Robert, as I am not on Facebook, it sounds like I miss a lot of your stuff. How do you choose what stuff goes where? So what it is, Robert, I've got Facebook to try and drive traffic to my YouTube channel. And what I do, I don't upload the same content to Facebook. The videos I put up to Facebook are very short, and they're very, you could say some people would find them boring. I've been videoing for the last couple of months. I've been showing people the state of my grass, because I've been running a fighting battle trying to get it green. I make videos about the dog. I might be out in a market and I'll show people what food I've got. I show them the stuff I've done to the house. Like I've had insulation put in the roof. I'll make a video talk about that. I had a 5-blade 6-speed fan put in the ceiling. I made a video about that. Very, very easy. I don't have to make thumbnails and do the SEO keywords and everything. Just point the camera, talk, put a little description, up it goes. Sometimes I put up to 5 videos a day on Facebook because it's so easy to do. Whereas YouTube's more of a planned schedule of videos. Every Saturday morning it's the stories, and there are a lot of work to do. And I'll try and get one other video in the week, which is nothing to do with bar girls or stories or anything. But as I say, those ones don't tend to work. The last one I did that worked fairly well was I took the train from Bangkok to Hua Hin and I filmed it. That one did okay. That did 16,000 viewings. That one's done. The American Bridge. There's crime everywhere, yes, but hearing about gun violence in Thailand isn't as common as America or the UK. True. We don't really have a lot of gun violence in the UK. It's more knife stabbings because guns are hard to come by in the UK. They do get sneaked in from East Europe from time to time, and there are guns about, but it's not like the States where, everybody's got a gun in their glove box or it's hidden in their closet. They're quite hard. If I went back to the UK and I wanted a gun, I wouldn't know where to get one. I probably couldn't get one. And I think in the UK, if I'm not wrong, you can actually get jailed just for having one. You don't even need to shoot it. Broadcaster Dave, hi handsome man. Thank you. I'll be there in 14 days. No real play on other than it's been at least the first night in Bangkok. Good stuff. Get your wallet out if you're going to Nana. It's expensive now. Chomari, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. You watch Thai local channels, you'll see different parts that tourists don't see. Okay, so I've probably seen them. I don't think you got the message last time. You're still doing the same, coming out with the same stuff. I've been virtually all over Thailand several times, so believe me, I've been in villages that don't even have flushing toilets, Right, Uncle Willie B, at older age travel takes it out of you, 24 hours on the move, Guangzhou to Shanghai, high-speed train, fly Beijing, then home, be up. Yeah, you get tired. Of course you do. It's like, when I was traveling around, when I was 30, no problem. I could travel for a week. But now, it just takes it out of you, doesn't it? Thank you, Pravel. I appreciate that for a few beers. Cheers. Always very kind. Yeah, when I'm 66 now. I don't think I look quite 66. Probably, I said to my girlfriend, I don't look 66. She says, no, you look 76. But and I don't, the way I think, my brain still thinks like I did 20 years ago, but I can't do what I did 20 years ago. If I go under the table to pick up a pencil that I've dropped, it takes me 5 minutes to get back up again. Not literally, but you know what I mean? It's like, your body slows down. I forget things. I'm very forgetful. I go in the kitchen. I'll think of something. I want to get something out of the kitchen. I'll go in there and I'm standing there. I think, what did I come in here for? And I go and sit down. Then I remember and I have to go back again. NATO R8F. The water supply is relatively safe. It's the storage and plumbing that makes you sick. Okay, yeah. Because they've got reservoirs here like everyone else, and it is processed. It's not like they take it straight out the ground and pump it through the taps. Pete Bailey. Good day, Peter. Yeah, that is one of the safest places regarding break and enters or gang crime, stolen and burnt out cars. It's a mess over here in some places. Australia. Yeah, it's the same in the UK. Crime's rife. Gringo Pappy asking for a friend. Does Binto watch dog TV on YouTube? I find it's incredibly entertaining too. He likes. We've got big double. Like sliding glass doors at the front of the house. We don't use it for access. At the front of our house, we've got like I can't even remember now. It's very wide, kind of sliding doors. They're very, what's the word I'm trying to look for? You know, they're not solid. Like you wouldn't have to take a crowbar to them. You know, you can put your fingers in between the frame and just pull them. They'd probably come out. Excuse me. But Binto likes to sit, and he can see the front of the house, and he can see people walking by. And, you know, if the postman comes, he goes crazy. But we use the back door to enter. It's easy. Just walk down the side of the house and come in the back door. If we use the front, we're fighting through the net curtains every time. American Bridge again. I'm just saying that a clock cost 52,000, cause 40% import tax. It's not as easy to get guns in Thailand, very regulated there. So for a kid to kill the grandparents and then do a massacre is very rare. Yeah, I think the guy, he got his grandfather's gun, as what I remember from TV. His grandfather kept a gun. I bet there'll be a few fathers and grandfathers locking their guns away today for sure. Pete Bailey says, we're following the UK's footsteps, unfortunately. Do you honestly think so? Do you think it's going that way? The culture has never seen them drink. Okay. Okay, you're talking to someone else. Right, Andrew, is it? Oh, Andrew, I can't pronounce the last bit. Honestly, Peter, you have 80,000 followers. If you get haters, just block them from the group. No point wasting time on them. No, I don't. I mean, I don't waste time on them now. I used to respond to them. The only reason I'm mentioning it here is because it's kind of unbelievable, isn't it? It kind of puts a smile on your face. You know, if someone goes to the trouble to tell you how bad your food looks, or they'll say, I wouldn't give that to my dog, or you have to have pepper in it. It's not like it bothers me and I feel like I have to write back to them. That's what I do now, just block and delete. It's so easy to do. But the reason I mention it is because on a live stream, you can talk about anything, right? I don't have a script here, and I've got to continue, you know, talk to you, and I'm reading your comments and stuff. But if I've got something that I just think's strange, why not talk about it? You know, and it just so happens on Facebook, you get a lot of these crankpots on there. You know, most people are okay, to be fair, but you get guys who are just strange, very strange. Okay, Toby Price, I flew with Emirates last week. All was normal. That's good to hear. Peter, have you tried Perplexity or Gemini ChatGPT? It's decent for image generation, but for the last updates, it's not as good as I have found. Yeah, I'm meaning to try Gemini because that's built into Word, isn't it? Into Google, rather. And you know, I was doing thumbnails for a short while with ChatGPT because they come out really good. But the problem is, if you look on YouTube, although they're different people's videos, all the thumbnails look the same, don't they? So it's a very good tool if you can't find an image or something to go with your video. It's good, but I'm trying not to use it so much now. Like, I made a video about an Indian restaurant in Bangkok called the New Bakara, and I wanted to find a picture of an Indian lady with a tray, pretty obviously, in Indian sari, and I couldn't find it. So I did ChatGPT to make the image, and it came out really good. But I'm trying to move away from there. I told you last time, Bangkok Pat sent me a load of thumbnails, and he said, look at this. He said, they're all done with the same AI, and they all look the same. And I thought, yeah, you're right. Oh, by the way, I did another interview yesterday with Irish Times. It came out pretty good. We're just talking about it. Won't his members have got it already, but it will probably be out in about 2 weeks. So another hour long. You know, he said we were just talking about, you know, the sort of people who come to Thailand now, and well, you'll have to watch a video. Just look out for it. 2 years. I'll probably put a link to it on my pages. Holden fan, how do you compare fish and chips between Thailand and the UK? The best fish and chips I've ever had was in the UK. Yeah, I mean, look, they have pretty good fish and chip shops in Thailand, but they're nowhere a patch on what you get in the UK. You know, I know they're expensive now in the UK, but when you go in, you get a box. You know, you get most places, a huge piece of fish, a massive amount of chips. Here they tend to use frozen cod, and it's okay, but you don't get a lot of chips. Superfish is pretty good up the road. That's James, and I think it's I keep forgetting. They do barracuda, but he also does chicken and mushroom pies and a bunch of other pies. I can't remember them all. Savoloys and stuff like that. They're pretty good. But you can get it and it's okay. But I wouldn't compare it to the UK. Not superfish. I mean, generally speaking, in Thailand. Any update on the insurance? Found a good one. Well, I do know of a good one, and I've been speaking to them again. But the problem is, because of my preconditions I mentioned last time, I'm trying to get the weight down, because once the weight goes down, my triglycerides will drop. My blood sugar's a little bit high. So there's quite a few things they don't want to insure me for. And 3 years ago, I should have took them off. I should have took it then before I was 65, because I lost 20 kilos and they were going to insure me for everything except a heart attack. And I didn't, and I'm still overweight. You know, I'm about 105 kilos now, and I really need to get down to at least 95. The problem is, it is very, very difficult here. One, because my old habit when I went out in the evening was I'd go out when I lived here last time. Well, not lived here, when I used to come and visit here, I'd go out at night to Nana and Cowboy and Therme and these sort of places. So I didn't start drinking until about 10 o'clock at night. But here, the problem is here, because I don't go out drinking in bars as a rule, in the evenings now, I'm home most nights. What I do enjoy at 6 o'clock is a couple of pints of beer. I just find it's just the right time of the day. The first one goes down, it doesn't even touch the side, and then the second one just complements the first one. And I do that every day. And I know beer is not good for losing weight. It's got a lot of calories in it, but I just can't. I was going to say I can't stop. I could stop. I stopped for 11 days when I was in Bangkok. It's not that I can't stop and I'd get the shakes and I'm alcoholic, something like that. It's just like I enjoy it so much. It's like kind of, how can I say? It's like having a roast and then saying you're not allowed to have any gravy. You know, you've got your roast beef or turkey, your roast potatoes, your Yorkshire pudding, your vegetables. But, you know, it's not the same without the gravy all over it, is it? So me not having a beer at 6 o'clock is like not having a gravy over the roast. So it's like having apple pie without the ice cream or the custard. You just have the dry apple pie. I think you know what I mean, don't you? So there's that. And then just the fact that it's so cheap to eat. You tend to go out and it's like, you know, I try not to eat deep fried food anymore. I'm trying to stay off the carbohydrates. But it's hard to eat all the time. People say, oh, go on the, what is it, the Atkins diet? Is it the Atkins diet, the one where you don't eat carbs at all? But it's really hard. You know, when you're going out to eat in Thailand, it is hard. The way I lost the weight last time is I basically starved myself. And I've learned since that's the wrong way to do it, because what happens, your body goes into shock mode because it thinks you are starving. So as soon as you start eating again, it stores it all because it's worried you're going to go into fat mode, shock again. And then other people say, well, you should go on do fasting. Fasting is very good. I watched Dr. Berg. He says, you know, fast for 3 days. It's amazing. But, you know, if I had a beer at 6 o'clock, would that still count as putting calories? Of course it would. So I don't really want to do fasting. So the way I'm doing it at the moment, I'm on the injections still. So what I do is I don't eat breakfast at all. I have my first meal of the day about 1 o'clock. Now, I know I had chow mein noodles, which is pasta, and it's carbs. I know that, but sometimes you can't help it. I'll tell you what I've really cut down on is bread. I used to, well, I still do, but it goes in the freezer. There's a bakery in, you know, in Terminal 1 in Bangkok, they've got a bakery in the basement, haven't they? It's got a French name, but it's a Japanese company, and they bake all their own cakes and bakery. Well, they've got the same brand here in Big C, and they do a sourdough loaf for 80 baht, and they'll slice it as thick. They've got a chart on the wall, and it goes from kind of thin right up to, you know, and you just say, like, I want 1.5 centimeters, and then they bag it up, and they bake it fresh every day, and it's cheap, it's good, and it's really tasty bread. I used to have that every day. You know, I'd have 2 fried eggs on bread, on toast, or I'd have beans on toast, or I'd have a sandwich. It was every day. And I've really cut down on bread now. That, funny enough, I had 2 fried eggs on 2 slices of toast 2 days ago for lunch because I didn't want to go out. I was editing and I couldn't think of anything. I couldn't see anything else to eat. I've got stuff in the freezer that I've had ages before I started dieting. I've got a big bag of chips, French fries, oven chips, but they've been there for ages. I won't touch them. So the point is, I was trying to say I'm cutting down the carbohydrates. So yeah, so I don't have any breakfast at all. My first meal of the day is lunchtime. Then I don't snack. I used to buy Lay's crisps, or, you know, you go in 7-Eleven, you always buy a bag of something in the peanuts or whatever. So I don't snack at all, really. Occasionally I have a bit of a weakness because my girlfriend buys a lot of crap, and I'll eat something. Like I just ate a handful of grapes after lunch, and they've got sugar in them. I shouldn't be eating them. Dinner time, I'll go out and have a couple of beers. I won't eat anything, and then I'll come back and I'll probably make myself an omelette or I'll make one of my homemade burgers, and that's pretty much it. Then I won't eat for the rest of the day. So I am losing, but very, very slowly. And I need to get down. I don't know if you can notice it. I have come down in the face, but this shirt just proves I haven't lost. 2 years ago, I was wearing this. If you look at some of my videos from 2 years ago, I mean, it's tight. I always like to look nice on a live stream. See some guys on live streams. They're wearing tatty old t-shirts. They've got hairs sticking out all over. The hair's not unshaven. I think if you're gonna, I'm a bit old-fashioned. If I'm gonna do a live stream, you should look presentable, right? Pat, how you doing? Greetings from Sydney, handsome man and Kung girlfriend. Thank you very much. Her name's Sawn, actually. People on Facebook say, why do you keep calling her your girlfriend? And I'd say, well, she's not my boyfriend, is she? And then, so I thought, yeah, why not? Her first name's Sawn, S-O-R-N. Full name is Sawn Rutai, but everybody calls her Sawn. And when I meet viewers, they do get to meet her as well. I don't put her on camera, only from behind. She's on Facebook quite a bit on my videos, but when she's in the garden from behind, because she likes gardening. But if I go to meet a viewer for lunch or dinner, sometimes I'll take her with her. And, plenty of people have met her. Oh, how long we've been going now? I want to go to the gym today, just coming up for an hour. As long as the comments keep coming, I'll keep going for as long as I can. Okay, Perbet. What is it? Listen, just quickly before I read this one out. If you've left a comment and you think he's not reading out my comment, I will get round to it. It's just that I like to get into every comment and talk about what the person wants to talk about. So I get delayed, but I do try and address everything. Okay, and it's easier on a Saturday because there's only 146 people in at the moment. Right, Perbet, what is your plan when you get older? Your mind goes to mush. Thanks for cheering me up. Retirement home or just hang at your house? Okay, it's funny. This came up on the video with Pete the other day, Irish Times. He and then you put there, you have more options than me. Well, I don't know about that. So this came up. Pete asked me the same questions and I explained. So now I've been with my girlfriend for nearly 4 years and I don't want to turn around and say, oh, she's different. And, I don't know what she seems to me like a decent girl. She worked in a hospital for 25 years. She doesn't play games. She's straight as they come. We've talked about this. I'd like to think if I got dementia or something, I'd like to think that she'd look after me. She's provided for, and I'd like to think that she takes care of me. And she's always said that. I mean, she jokes. She says, look, if I have to put Pampers on you, I will. It's not a problem. Thai women don't get hung up about that. And I said, if you have to put Pampers on me, go and buy me a gun. Don't put Pampers on me. And my friend Simon will look out for me as well. Now, if he doesn't hear from me for a couple of weeks, or he rings up and he can't get hold of me, and I'm just out of the picture, then he'd come over and try and sort it out. And if she wasn't looking after me and I was in a bad way, he's got all my daughter's numbers and stuff. They'd just come over here and take me back. And as somebody famous once said, if I've got a bunch of marbles running around my head and I don't know what I'm doing, it doesn't really matter, does it? But things can happen. I remember a story a few years ago, not very long ago, actually, about 2 years ago. There was a guy, he lived out here on his own, like a lot of guys do. And he was in a rented condo somewhere, or a house in a smaller part of Thailand, not a village, but a small town. He wasn't in Bangkok. That's what I'm trying to say. And he wasn't in Pattaya. And they hadn't seen him around for about a week. And the neighbors were complaining there was a smell. And they broke the door down. And he'd been on the floor for like 4 days, 5 days or something. And nobody knew he'd passed away. So that's certainly not going to happen to me. Simon, given the drought in the UK, green grass is a bit of a novelty right now. Yeah, I bet. My grass is looking good at the moment because she's taken over it. Pat, did you see the news? Few vicious dogs jumped on their neighbor, bit him. I seen the one where the guy picked up one of the dogs and started swinging at the other dogs by its back legs. I'm not sure if I've seen that one because I watch a lot of videos, That's why I won't take Binto out. We took him to Cranberry in the car the other day. Sorry, I think I've got a bit of a cold. I took him, we went in the car and we took Binto with us. I said, look, I don't want to leave him caged up for 4 hours or something. Let's take him with us. So we took the car and we're at the end of the beach. I don't know if you know Cranberry. There's a big rock there and it's a nice bit of beach. And they've got some Thai food stores. And we were sat at one of the food stores and the heavens opened up, and it was wet sand. You can't do anything with that, right? It did stop, but we thought it's not. We'll just go back home. And we were walking him. He's in a harness, and 4 dogs came from nowhere, and they were soy dogs from that area, and they just started. I mean, they were going to go for him, and Sean picked him up and put him up on the shoulder like that. Luckily I managed to pick up a stick located close by. You just got to hold it above your head, or if you're in that situation in Thailand, pretend you're picking up a stone, because that's what the Thais do. If they come from there, they'll pick up a stone and throw it at the dog, so the dog knows if you bend down, he thinks you're picking up a stone. But that's why I can't walk him around here. You know, it's they're vicious, and he's only small. The American Bridge. Okay, you're talking to somebody else. Ken, how you doing? Hi, Peter and gang. I'm late in there. A member stream today. No, there's no member stream on a Saturday. This is just an extra stream that I introduced about 3 months ago, because there's a lot of people, because of the time difference. The Sunday streams that I do is at 8 o'clock in the evening my time, and member stream is at 9:45. So it's just the wrong time of the day for, like Herbert, for instance, is in California. It's late in the evening for him now, but he can catch this one with a few beers, you know. So I only brought in this stream to to try and show other people who might be members, that they can watch the live stream live, as it were. But there's no member stream on a Saturday. It's just a casual go live, and that's it. Sorry. Lincoln James Davis, what's an average cost? God, terrible, isn't it? What's an average cost to rent a decent 1-bedroom apartment for a month in Hua Hin? It depends. It literally depends where you are. I mean, if you're in the center, if you want it on the beach sort of thing, you probably pay 30,000 baht a month. If you want it in the center of town, a nice 1-bedroom apartment, anywhere between 15,000, 20,000 a month. If you're willing to live 10 minutes out of town, like near the airport or over this way a little bit, you probably get a 1-bedroom apartment for 12,000. Well, there's a Russian guy in this street. He rents a house here for 12,000 baht a month, and it's exactly the same as ours: 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, big carport, and it's all down to location. But for us, we're 8 miles west of the main part of Hua Hin. We're in a Thai village, so it's not so popular for people who want to be in the center of Hua Hin. But I jump on my scooter. It's 20 minutes in, 20 minutes out. It's not a big deal, and we don't go into town every day. And there's bars. There's a good Indian restaurant, several other restaurants, a really decent night market just 5 minutes away. We got stuff around here. We don't have to go into town every time. Okay, you're right. I misspoke on the UK and gun violence. I typed in UK, but I was meaning Western countries with guns. You'll have drive-by. Yeah, no, that's fair enough. I understand. It's just, that we've never had a kind of gun culture in the UK. It's always been frowned upon. I mean, obviously we've got a flying squad. There's cars in every city, police cars that have got a gun cabinet in the car. And if there was you don't have them so often now because of security and cameras and alarms. But, in the 70s and the 80s, we used to have a lot of armed robberies, cash robberies, payroll robberies, vans delivering money, or picking up money. They'd jump out of a car with shotguns or whatever and hold them up. And that was a big thing in the 70s and early 80s. But as it's going into a kind of cashless society more and more, though you don't tend to hear of those. It's gone more into cybercrime now. So guns has always been kind of really frowned upon in the UK. It's only the police really and the military that have them. Although saying that, the last kind of 20 years since, Europe really opened up, you do get from some of the Eastern Bloc countries, you do get guns smuggled in, but it's usually like the criminal gangs who use them. But if they get caught with a gun just on a shootout or something, they're guaranteed a very, very long term in prison, even if they don't hurt anybody. It's just, I watch programs in America, and it's amazing how many people just have guns, and it's like, guy have a gun strapped to him, and the police are talking to him. It's in a holster, of course, but have you got a license for that? Yeah, okay, no problem. It's just alien to us. Hi, Peter. Love every video you put out. Seen everyone over the years. Brilliant content. Thank you very much. I do appreciate that. Right, Pat. Officials the reason I didn't read your name out there, because when it's all in one there, I find it very. I don't know if Malika is your last name or your first name. Pat. Officials like Army or police have guns, which I've just explained about. American Bridge. I use ChatGPT for making a specific style of graphic for laser engraving. It works very well for that. I just have to prompt it. I'll tell you I'll tell you where ChatGPT has made my life easier. There are a lot of people accuse me of making up stories. I won't get into this because we talked about it last time. It just doesn't tell the stories like a real story. But where it saves me work, when I get a story sent in by email, I have to change positions here. What it is, normally there's a lot of spelling and grammar mistakes, or people put paragraphs every 3 lines. And, I used to have to go in, read it and manually change it. It took me an hour, half an hour, whatever to do it. Now I can just put the whole story into ChatGPT that's been sent to me in an email, just copy paste it. And the prompt I give is check this story falls within YouTube's guidelines, check for grammar and spelling mistakes, take out all paragraphs, make it 1 block of text, just 2 minutes, copy and paste it back to my Word document, space it out how I want it. And it's just really taken the time out of manually doing it. Robert, Pete, do you think you will do streams when your daughters arrive? Any thoughts? Still thinking. Oh, well, I hope I can stop playing about with my nose by then, but it's... I think what I'm going to do, Robert, to be honest with you, I've put a lot of thought into this. So they're going to be here for about 6 days, a week probably. I think there's going to be 1 week where I'm going to be missing in action. I mean, people have said, oh, you can do the stories in advance and all that sort of thing. But because I number them now, because I write to every person, if someone sends me a story, it might be sitting for a month on my PC, then I'll take it for next Saturday, for instance. I edit it, record it. I always write to the person and say, just to let you know, the story you sent in, I'll be reading it out on Saturday the 8th, for instance. So I send them out every week. So it's very difficult. If I record one to go off in a month or something, I can't write to the person and let them know. Plus, I can't really number them because I number all the stories now, because people used to complain they couldn't find, they're halfway through an upload and they couldn't find it because I've got over 1,000 videos on my channel now, about 1,100, coming up for 1,200. So I don't think that would work now. So they're here for about, I think by the time I go up to Bangkok, it's 2 nights. 1 night's when they go back, it's 3. They're here. So 9 nights. So I think probably by the time I make another video and get it up, I think there's going to be I think I'm going to disappear for 2 weeks, because I've never really had a week where the stories were missing in 5 years. I think once there was no stories. So I think for there definitely won't be any live streams. But for 2 weeks, I think I'm going to be, I hope it doesn't hurt my channel too much. But, I haven't seen my daughters for 2 years, and I just want to spend time with them and take them around in the daytime. I don't think people realize how much work actually goes into YouTube, how much effort, how many hours. It's a lot of, a lot of hours. And if somebody does it seriously, they put in a lot of hours. It's not like, I've seen guys come here and they think, oh, I'll start a YouTube channel. They make 1 video and then they go out and party for a week. That doesn't work. People want consistency. They want to know, oh, something's going to be there on a certain day. Perbert, I know you've been looking at health insurance. Is it really that expensive? No, not really. Look, when I was going to get insurance when I first arrived here, they quoted me. I'm not going to name any companies right now because I'm kind of wait till it works out for me. But the company I was going to go with quoted me 88,000 baht for a year, right? But there's clever ways to get that policy right down. I managed to get it down from 88,000 to 44,000, right? That's about £1,000 a year for fully insured. I know I wasn't going to have the heart attack bit, but if I was in hospital for a month, at least I know I'm covered, for breaking my legs or something. So the way you get it down, you tell them, first of all, you don't want any outpatients, okay? Because you don't need outpatients. Outpatients is cheap here in Thailand. And if it's only outpatients, it's not going to be that serious, right? That brings the policy down by about 15%. And then what you do, you offer to pay the first, say, $1,000 or $2,000. I think it was $2,000 I offered, and that brought it down by about 33%. And then there's some other bits and pieces, okay? The reason I offered to pay the first $2,000, if I was in hospital and I had a 2 million baht bill, that'd crush me. 2 million baht, it's about £50,000. But if I had to pay $2,000, what's that? 60,000 baht. It's doable, isn't it? And if it brings the insurance policy down to 50% of what you were going to pay, why wouldn't you want to do it? So it is and it isn't. It depends how you do it and what companies you go with. Okay, Pat. In my research about law in Thailand, I was initially shocked that a normal person cannot have anything aside from pistols and shotguns, and only 10-row magazine, no AR-15s or assault rifles. I think it's only in America, really. Assault rifles. Why would you need an assault rifle at home? I remember once when I had a taxi business for a while in the UK, and I used to drive on I used to take the cream jobs, I had it was only a small company. I had some black cabs and Skoda Octavias. And I used to get robbed blind by the drivers. This was before we had, sat nav and all the rest of it. But anyway, this was after I went back in the year 2000. And I remember I picked up this guy who'd flown in from South Africa, and I got talking to him. I said, I heard South Africa's very bad for crime. And he was saying, yeah, people don't call the police. They call private security companies, And he said, one of these security companies told him, he says, look, if somebody because they're like fortresses, their houses are like fortresses, they've all got high walls, barbed razor wires, cameras, because these guys come over because crime is so plentiful there in certain parts of Cape Town or wherever. And one of the security people were telling this guy who I was picking up at the airport, he said to me, he said, yeah, if he's coming over the wall and they were told me if I shoot him and he's dead, drag him inside the house and you'll be okay. Because if you shoot him coming over the wall and he's dead, then you get arrested. But crazy. Phil, how you doing? I think I will visit Hua Hin next year. Any advice? Best areas to stay. Want to be close enough to nightlife and action, but far away to have a good night's stay. Two areas I would tell you to, would recommend, Phil. One would be anywhere close to the Hilton Hotel, because near the Hilton Hotel, not the Hilton Hotel itself, obviously, because it's going to be expensive, isn't it? But if you find a little hotel around there, you just go onto Agoda, the booking site, and look at the maps and everything. Find out where the best way to do it is go into Google and put Hilton Hotel, or how would you do it? Hotels near Hilton Hotel Hua Hin, and they'll all come up, and then you can see. But the reason I say there is because it's walking distance to the sea. I wouldn't necessarily say it's the best beach there, but you can walk to the beach. It's very close. Plus, you've got a whole street it's a touristy area, right? So you've got a whole street of little restaurants, Thai restaurants, seafood restaurants, all that sort of thing. So everything's walkable. And then you've got Bintabat, which is also just 5 minutes from the Hilton, which is 4 streets of bars. If you want to go out at night and entertain the ladies and stuff, there is no go-go bars. So that's one area I would suggest. The second area I would suggest is anywhere on Soi 94, because on Soi 94 they have a huge bar complex called Wonderland, okay, which is big. Again, a lot of girly bars and stuff like that. You've got Scruffy Murphy's Irish pub there, and craft beer. I think it's called Craft. But all along 94, there's a 7-Eleven right in the middle of 94. But you've got all bars and restaurants all around there. And very, very close is Bangkok Por, the big night market that's dirt cheap. And they have the live band and the dancing girls and everything. So Soi 94 or somewhere near the Hilton. The Thai American Bridge, Dr. Berg is great. Yeah. The only thing I don't like about him is he'll say, I'm going to tell you 3 things that will clean your arteries straight out. And you have to sit through a 10-minute video and it tells you right at the end. I want to know now. I'm impatient. The American Bridge. So, Som is a lovely lady, Peter. It was great to have you all come out for the dinner on the boat. Her and my wife got along well, and I'm very happy for you. Look forward to meeting up again with you both. Yeah, same here, Jesse. Same here. She's changed a lot since you met her last time. Not for the worse, but she can speak some English now. And she's a lady of leisure now because she doesn't work. Andrew, Peter, if you could change anything on your new house, what would you do? Let's just say there is no budget. It's more, what would you like to do or change? I've done it all now. There's only one last thing I want to do, and that's just for my personal choice. I don't have to do it. But when we moved in here, I've mentioned this quite a few times, so I'll make it brief. I didn't realize, because it's a single-story house, I didn't realize how hot it would get because the sun's penetrating the roof for 12 hours or 10 hours, and they don't put insulation in the lofts here. And the sun in the afternoon, the sunlight was directly on those big doors I was telling you about on the glass, right? So I tinted all the windows with a professional company. That was 11,000 baht. So that keeps 99% of the UV out. We put a 6-speed fan in the middle of the lounge, which helped. But the real game changer was the insulation in the loft. I put 6-inch high insulation in the loft. Cost 20,000, 3,500 to fit it. Game changer. I used to come out of here if I had the aircon on, go in the lounge. It was just unbearably hot. You couldn't sit there and watch TV or anything in the afternoon. It was just unbearably hot. Now I can go in there on a hot day, put the fan on number 6, which is right above the sofa, and I can sit there. I don't need aircon. So the only other thing left that I wanted, and I had to put some guttering on. They don't supply guttering either. And on that side of the house, the water would have gone into my neighbour's yard, and he'd put guttering in on his side, so I felt obliged to do that. That was another 10,000. The only other thing I want to do is down the side of the house, to walk is smooth concrete. But when they built the house, they did welding on it, and it's left black patches, so you can't get them off. They're burnt in, and it looks a bit unsightly. So what I want to do is I want to try and get, the paint that they paint tennis courts with, because you can get floor paint, just grey paint, but when it's wet, you'll slip. So I want to try and get the paint that they paint tennis courts that's non-slip, so when it rains, we won't fall over, as it were. And that's the last thing, but it's not worth looking into that till after the rainy season. Has it stopped? Not yet. It's been raining now since I started this, before I started the stream, and it's been about 1.5 hours. It normally does stop about, I hope it stops, because I want to go out on my scooter tonight when I do the filming. I don't want to take my car. It's quite hard to park it. No worries, Perbert. Rangsit Vision. Cool, that was talked about that ages ago. Adult diapers are quite comfy. I'm sure they're comfortable, but it's just the thought of my girlfriend. You know what I mean? It's just, I don't want to talk about it. NATO, I've had a Thai nurse put Pampers on me. It was a must for transport in an ambulance because they can't stop for toilet breaks between Hua Hin and Bangkok. Yeah, well, that's understandable, isn't it? I'd be very embarrassed, honestly, especially when they took it off. I held stronger like a trooper. So, okay, Herbert, Peter, you're awesome. If only we could live your life. It's not, I know you always say that, thanks. It does, it's like from outside, it looks perfect, but it's not always perfect living here. I do have stumbling blocks, and some days I do feel a bit down and bored. And, luckily I've got YouTube, but it's not perfect. And it can, when Hua Hin's a small town, it can get a bit like, well, where should we go to eat today? There's a lot here, but it's not perfect for sure. Pat Thai, I was shocked shopping in America, Target selling guns at Thai. Yeah, absolutely. Brian, I can't find the video you did about how much you spend per month. It wasn't long ago. Let's have a look, see if I can get it for you. Now, don't forget, just because this is what I spend, it might not necessarily be what you spend, because we're all different, aren't we? Some guys like to go out to go-go bars or regular bars every night. I know I didn't do it long ago, so it should be easy to find. I say that. If you email me, my email's in the description. If I can't find it here, I was a Pattaya bar girl. No, it was after that. That's the problem when you got so many videos up on YouTube, you can't find your own videos. Retiring in Thailand. Yeah, I can't. I can't. It's my channel. I can't find. Don't rent in Thailand. Thailand's best kept secret. Yeah, if you email me, it wasn't that long ago. It's probably like 50 videos ago. If you email me, I'll find the link and I'll send it to you. Okay. Right, I'm going to whiz through these now because I think I'm way behind. Let's see how far behind I am. Not too bad. Where was I? Answered Pat's. Answered American Bridge. Robert. Someone's wrote Capone's Pizza. I don't know why. That's a new place that's opened up. Apparently they're pretty good. Okay, I did that one. Adult diapers. Okay, we're somewhere here. Brian, I think. Okay, that was the one we're doing. Okay, Jeff. We'll start with Jeff. Jeff, yeah, it's early here as well. 4:02 a.m. Okay. Matthew, hello, Peter. How are you today? I just come back from university here in Bangkok. Awful news about the shooting. It was actually very close to home where I am. Good to catch you. Yeah, awful news. Robert Koch, Jack Regan, the Sweeney, you're nicked. I said, get your trousers on, you're nicked. What was the other famous one? He said, we're the Sweeney and we haven't had any dinner. Yeah, I tried watching them because they're all on YouTube and stuff, on apps. I've tried watching them again, but they're not the same now because they look really dated now. I used to like Minder as well. That was good, but it's starting to look dated as well. I've watched all the episodes about 3 times. Scott, how you doing? Hi, Peter from Scott, New Zealand. Enjoy your videos. Well done. Thanks, Scott. Cholmery. Hi, Peter. I'm a good guy. Maybe some of my messages came up differently. That's what I wanted to say. Yeah, no worries. I don't get easily offended. It's only when you get well, okay, let's not get into it. Right, Scott, the Sweeney, great show. Watch it, New Zealand. Do you know what? I was so disappointed when they brought that film out a few years ago, the Sweeney, the one with Ray Winston. He was in Scum originally. Great actor. And I seen that they were releasing The Sweeney as a movie, a new version. And because he was in it, I thought it was going to be really good. And I was really excited because I was a big fan of The Sweeney growing up. I was 15 when it was on TV. Still remember that copper-colored Granada coming through the glass. You know, it was one of the most exciting shows on at the time. And when a few years ago they redid it as a movie, no Jack Regan or anything like that. No, you just said his name, didn't you? It was Ray Winston. Is it Ray Winston? Yeah. And I thought, well, he's a good actor, so it's going to be good, and it's a good theme. And I was really looking forward to it. Do you know, I watched it, and I thought it was one of the most boring films I've ever seen. Why did they call it The Sweeney? It wasn't even, you know, it wasn't even based on the original series. It was just like cops and bad guys. Nothing, you know, very disappointed. Chris, England 70s, 1890s, high trust society, 26, low trust society. We need weapons to protect ourselves. Yeah. I mean, I still remember growing up in the 70s and early 80s. It was very honest. I mean, we had crime, but you know, you could leave your back door open, go out for a couple of hours, come back, and the chances are you probably wouldn't be burgled, and neighbors watched out for each other. Chomri, is YouTube an hobby, or does it feel like work? No, it's a hobby. If it felt like work, I wouldn't do it. But I'm just saying it's a hobby that you do properly, or you don't do it at all. You know, it's not something you can kind of do one day a week and then forget about it. Well, you could, but you wouldn't have anybody watch you. So what's the point then? Ronald, I'm impressed you haven't missed to publish a Saturday video ever, as far as I know. That's very consistent. Well done. I did once, Ronald, and I can't remember the reason. There was one Saturday I missed the videos, but I released it on a Monday instead of a Saturday. But when my daughters come here in November, there's definitely going to be one Saturday. I might try and get one done, and it just won't have a number, you know. It'll just go out without a volume number. That's better than not releasing them, isn't it? And of course, I'm always getting shorter stories. You know, I'll have 3-4 stories. That'll get me through that Saturday. And I think, oh, what's going to happen next week? I've only got one story. One story will come in the week. I put the upload together. It's only 17 minutes long. I like them to be 30, 35 minutes long. And I have to go in. I keep all the stories in files. And then I go all the way back to 2021 and read a few of the stories. I think, oh, that was a good story. Then I'll tag it on to the end. But I get guys complaining, you know, oh, you've read that out already. I'm like, mate, it was 2021. It's now 2026. You know, were you even subscribed back then? Okay. Peter, I don't think they have the same mentality. I don't feel they need guns in Thailand. Well, actually, you say that something that happens quite often when a couple of Thais get into a road rage incident. There's been quite a few times where one of them will go back to his car, pull out one, what we're talking about, you know, pull one out from his glove box, and he just shoots the other guy, and he's, you know, outright. And that's happened quite a lot here in Thailand. Aren't you afraid of getting a crazy high hospital bill in case of a major health insurance due to lack of health insurance? Best of luck to you. Well, there's a couple of things. I am actively looking for insurance, and I think I will end up with insurance. But there's a couple of things that I feel okay about. Okay, so firstly, I go for a fasting blood check about twice a year. The numbers come back, and when I sit with the doctor and he goes through them, it's basically I get the same kind of results. Well, this is slightly high. Try and work on that. Your blood sugar is a little bit high, but basically everything's normal. It's kept in check because I'm on a statin, which keeps my cholesterol down. I'm on a blood, what do you call it? A medicine in the morning that keeps my blood pressure low. So I'm normal, but it's all controlled with medication. Okay, so that's one thing I do. I've had a hard black plaque test on my veins. That's a plaque that builds up. It come back 0. Doctor was shocked actually for a guy my age. I've had a soft plaque test done. That's a little fat molecules in your veins. That's a little bit high. I've got to try and work on that, but that's down to alcohol, I think. So if I don't work on reducing the alcohol, that's going to be a difficult one. So the other thing is I don't have a problem using a public hospital. Okay, a lot of people won't use a public hospital because when they go there, they're just overcome with how many people are there. But once you find out how it works, like in Hua Hin, for instance, they have a special clinic in the evening. And if you pay 400 baht, you can call in the day and say, I want to see a dermatologist or something. And you'll go up and you'll see a dermatologist within 10 minutes. The doctors speak English. I had a fasting blood check the government hospital here, which, you know, the state hospital, it was 1,600 baht. I got the report in English and the doctor spoke to me in English. So there's a few things in the mix there. You know, one, I know I'm fairly healthy anyway. And don't forget, I'm going to the gym as well 2 or 3 times a week. So I'm going to the gym. I'm trying to lose weight. I'm not afraid to use the public hospitals. I get checked out quite regular. So I'm quite confident that isn't going to happen. But if it is, you know, who can predict the future? I mean, if I was that worried about it, I would just not come out my front door, you know, in England, right? Just sit and watch Heartbeat all day because I'm afraid something might happen to me. Andrew, Fresh Inn Hotel near the Hilton, worth a check, around 1,500 baht, August dates. Okay, so the guy who asked me the question, where to stay in Hua Hin, if you're still in the stream, there you go. Good tip for you there, Fresh Inn. Okay, Chris, go to Google Maps, search Hilton Hua Hin, then zoom out a little, and there's a button on the map, see nearby hotels. Click that, and it will show all the hotels. That's a great tip. I didn't know that, because I normally, if I'm going somewhere, like say I was going to Pattaya, I'd put hotels in Pattaya, so the whole page would come up. Then I'd expand it to the area I know I want to stay, and then I'd look at those hotels. Carlos, how you doing? I'm well, thank you. Ranksit Vision, how you doing? Zuru, is it? Zuru, hi Peter. How much is a decent health insurance coverage for someone about 60, small blood pressure? Like I said earlier on, you're looking anywhere between 40,000, 80,000. It depends how many preconditions you have and what condition your health is. Because the insurance company I'll tell you who I'm trying to get back on with. I'm trying to go with Pacific Cross. Because I did a lot of research on all the insurance companies, and there's some good ones out there. You know, the big ones. I can't remember the names of them, but the reason I said Pacific Cross because they're based in Bangkok. They have English speaking what do you call them, reps, and the thing is they do pay out. They're very hard to get on with. So when I go next time, I have to take a form to the hospital, and the doctor's got to fill it out and say, has he put any weight on? Is his blood pressure gone higher and all that? I have to answer a load of questions. So they're quite difficult to get on with because they're quite stringent. The what do you call it? The entry is quite stringent. But I know from other people that if you do go to hospital, they don't have any quibbles paying out, and you don't have to pay out first and get the money back. You'll carry a card. You give that to the hospital, and the hospital deal directly with them, and all the hospitals know them. So that's who I'm trying to get on with again. And I spoke to one of the guys over there. He sent me the application form again. I said, look, give me 3 months. I'm going to try and get fit, lose some weight, and then I'll go and have another fasting blood check. So that's what I'm trying to do. But as I said earlier, it's a very, very difficult thing to do, isn't it? Here. Pat, any more house to rent in your neck of the woods, Peter? Well, that's the only one I know is rental. Most of these houses in my street, in fact, next door, they only come here on a Friday and Saturday from Bangkok, and one across the road, same, they only come on a Friday and Saturday. So some of the Thais in Bangkok buy these houses because they like Hua Hin, and they want to come down here, and they just want to have a base. So, and it's an investment for them, isn't it? Well, I don't know about Thailand, a house and investment, but it's not really a rental area, Pat. But the easiest way to find rentals here is just go onto Facebook. Don't put any money to anybody on Facebook, but just go on Facebook, and you can join certain posts, you know, houses to rent in Hua Hin. You can look for agents on Facebook, join the groups. That's what we did originally, but don't expect them to chase you because they don't. I've mentioned before, you go to an agent and you say, have you got any one bedroom or you got any houses? You say, yeah, I've got 4. She'll pick you up in the car. She'll take you around the 4. You don't like any of them. And you'll say, well, if you get any more in, let me know. And they won't. You have to chase them, basically. Paul Harrison, how you doing? Good afternoon, Peter, from a sunny morning back in the UK. No green grass, right? So much sun. Kicks TV, how you doing? We are lives, my dudes. We have been for about an hour and a half now. Scott Green, hi Peter, can you rent a house for 15,000 baht a month in Hua Hin? Yes, very, very easily, and you'll get a good house of 15,000, but it's not going to be near the Hilton in the center of town, and it's not going to be on the beach. You'll have to have a car or a scooter if you want to come into town, and it might be 10 minutes away, but, you know, if you're prepared to live out, not as far as we live out, because the reason we come this far out is because we got a real nice house for about £55,000. You wouldn't get a garden shed for that in England. That's why we live here. But I don't mind driving into town. And like I say, there's a lot of stuff around here because we don't go into town every day. But if you're prepared to live, say, on the kind of the outskirts, not the outskirts of the city, but kind of the outskirts of the center of town, if that makes sense, then yeah, you can find Simon, my friend, was looking for one down here as a base. He found one for about 12,000 baht, 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom. I can't remember what it was now, but you've got to look around. And you're not going to get a luxury condo for that sort of price, but you can find decent accommodation. Robert, I meant to say video quality from your new phone is first class. Yeah, thanks, Robert. I actually use a couple of there's 2 or 3 cameras I use now. I've just bought the Samsung S26 Ultra because it's got 200 pixel camera in it, whereas my other one, the S24, had 50 pixels. I won't get too technical, but like I said the last time, I like to use my camera to film in the daytime. Nighttime, it's not great. I use a DJI Pocket Cosmo 3, which I put on 2.8 HD, and then I've got some software called Handbrake that will take it back down to 1080 because my laptop can't handle high definition, but then the quality stays there, if that makes sense. But I use the phone. If I do interviews, I use the phone because it's just sitting there on a stand, and I use it if I go to places where I don't want people to know I'm filming. I don't stick it in people's faces, but for instance, in a market, for instance, well, not in a market because that was nighttime, say a shopping mall, say I want to walk around a shopping mall, but I don't want to walk around like an obvious YouTuber with a mic and, you know, all this, what do you call it? You know, these things that they carry the camera on. I forget the name of it. I want to look like another tourist. So, you know, I can look at my screen on my camera. I can walk around like that, and no speech needed. I can just film the mall, you know, and anybody looks at me, oh, he's another dumb tourist, you know, filming a mall. And that's why I film on my camera. It's very good, actually, to blend in. Peter, I'll bring my PS5 for you to play. You can drive a Lamborghini or defend against aliens. Okay, I'm not really a gamer, but it would be interesting. I think if I was a gamer and I set up a proper gaming studio, what I'd like to set up is a flight simulator. That, you know, that would be good fun, I think, for me. Michael, thank you. Project Bangkok. No, I met him once. He's a YouTuber in Bangkok. He's got some problems, hasn't he? Some issues. I actually met him once. I was out doing some B-roll, and he was walking towards me in Tonglo. Not Tonglo. Where was it? It was. I know what it was. I can't remember the name of the blooming Klong Toy. I pronounced it wrong. Klong Toy. Anyway, I was walking around there, and I was just doing B-roll. I was using my Cosmo 2 that time because it's very small. And he came walking towards me. He obviously recognized me, and I recognized him. And because I was filming, I just kind of waved to him. He waved back, and he walked past me. But then I've seen him one time in Terminal 21. You know where the toilets are? You go in, and they have a little station where you can plug your mobile phone in, charge it up, USB and all that. He was sat there with 2 suitcases, and I thought, that's weird. And I came out and said, oh, yeah, hi, how are you? I introduced myself and everything. And he says, yeah, I'm just waiting for my friend to call me. I couldn't make it out. He almost looked homeless. I don't know nothing more about him than that. Phil, thank you. I was thinking of visiting October or February. Can you tell me the pros and cons of both months? October too quiet or February too busy? I don't like real high season or to be dead. February's okay then, because high season here is October, November, tail end of October, really November, December, January, then it starts tailing off in February. The reason being because it cools down by about 10 degrees. November, you'll see the Thais are wearing coats, you know, they're shivering, even though it's still 26 degrees. It's not too bad in high season. You want to come over when it's nice and cool, but February's okay. But it's amazing how much more heat there is between January and February. I noticed the last week of January, it just heats up. It's really fast. Scott, I meant Martin Shaw from The Professional. Oh, you met Martin Shaw from The Professionals show. Nice guy. I never liked that show very much. Bodie Doyle. I couldn't take it seriously after the guy who what was his name? That he was in The Great Escape, wasn't he? The guy he played in Upstairs, Downstairs. I could never take him serious after he was a butler in Upstairs and Upstairs, Downstairs. You'll have to come from the UK and remember the 70s for that show. Ronald. From your intro to the video today, I'm surprised you're still thinking distance in miles living in Thailand. Do you calculate it in your head when you see the signage? Yeah, I do. I mean, I grew up on miles. I know it's something like a mile is 1.2 kilometers, isn't it? But I don't know. I've always calculated in miles, so I do. And I'll tell you what I don't do so much now. I always, when I see prices, I always used to, I always used to calculate in my head how much is that in pounds. I don't tend to do that now because I know Thai prices and I know if something is expensive. So I don't need to say, oh, that's 400 baht. What's that in pounds? Actually, I automatically know a lot of the prices now as well. But yeah, miles, definitely. I don't like the fact that my scooter calculates in kilometers. A car also, the mileometer, that's in calculators. Excuse me, that's in kilometers as well. I do much prefer miles. Holden fan, maybe do a top 5 of best stories before your daughters come to Thailand and release it when you are with your daughters. The problem is I can't find them. This is one of the questions, again, Pete from Irish Times. He interviewed me again yesterday. It's coming out in 2 weeks' time. And he said to me, what 3, is there any story that sticks out in your head out of the thousands of stories I've read? And I said, yeah, 3. And I told him which 3 they were, but I could never find them. If I went off to look for them, because it's just in those days, I didn't number them and they were called, it was just like 3 stories from Thailand. They weren't very inventive. I was amateur, right? Still am up to a point, do everything myself. I could tell the story, but it wouldn't be the same because it wouldn't have the same details in there. There are 3 stories that stick out just very, very quickly. I said to Pete, he said, which? I said, there's 3 stories that stick out. One was the one about my mate Thomas, who jumped off a balcony in Pattaya when he got ripped off by his Thai girlfriend's family. He opened the bar and the little hotel, if you remember that one. The other one was the guy who met a girl who was with an abusive Thai guy. He had something missing out of his life. He kind of took her under his wing. They fell in love. They went back to Australia. And one afternoon, late in the afternoon, they went out on a boat, just the 2 of them. It capsized. He hung on to her for about 4 hours and she went under and she lost her life. And I put a picture up at the end. His name is, well, I won't tell you his real name, but I actually said, look, can I put a picture up at the end? I put some nice music with it. You can see that if you go into Google and just put drowned Thai girl in Australia, it will come up and it'll tell you the story. But that was another one. And the other story, believe it or not, that sticks out in my mind is the Thai girl who came down from Isan when she was about 17, went to work in Pattaya. She was a bar girl. She knew every trick in the book. And she told her story. She got married in the end to a guy and went back to England. They had a kid and it all worked out. But she'd been a bar girl for about 20 odd years. The guy got lots of stick. How could you marry, lots of horrible words. And it worked out. But she told her story through her husband in detail. And it was really interesting to hear that story from a Thai bar girl's viewpoint, what she thinks about certain guys and how they waste her time and, how they can tell if you're single really, because the guy, you can see where he's taking his wedding band off. And I actually released it recently because it did so well. I've actually released it again a couple of months ago and it's done another 100,000 viewers. The video, if you want to watch it, the video is called I Was a Pattaya Bar Girl. But those 3 kind of stick out as keeping in my mind. The first 2 pretty sad and the third one, just because it was a Thai bar girl actually explaining in her own words. I mean, as usual, I got the normal people saying I made it up. There's too many details to make it up, but okay, Holden fan, maybe. Oh, you've just read that right. Chris, Phil, I would go December or January. Temperature drops from 32 down to 27, 28. But importantly, humidity drops from 88% to 60%, makes things far more bearable and enjoyable, rains very little. And that's exactly why it's high season, because it is. I used to go to, what was the name of that bar I used to go to in Soy 8 and have a few beers when I was waiting for my girlfriend to come home. Det 5. A lot of you know Det 5. So as you go down Sukhumvit Soy 8, you've got the Adelphi Hotel on the right. Then further down, you've got Det 5, which is a kind of open air Thai kind of restaurant bar. And I used to go there and have a couple of beers. And that time of the month, it was lovely, Right, the American Bridge. Peter, what is the most unique food you have ever eaten? Was the most delicious? Not necessarily Thailand, but anywhere. Well, that was when I was in the Congo. I only did one stint there, but it was a big snake. I think it was a snake, an egg. It was a big egg, and I tasted it, and it tasted like a chicken's egg actually. But that's when where I was used to be called Zaire. I don't know what it's called now. No, sorry, Kinshasa. The city I don't know if it's still called Kinshasa, but when I was there, Mobutu was in power. And you've got the Congo River there. And if you look in the Guinness Book of Records, at that time, Kinshasa, the 2 closest cities in the world were there, Kinshasa, then just over the river. I think it was Brazzaville. Can't remember. It was a long time ago. But that was pretty wild. I've never wanted to try. I was in China, and they used to suck on chickens' feet and eat everything that comes out of the body and brains and noses. And You know, I worked in China for a while. All I ate every day was a bowl of white rice with a fried egg on top. I lost about 2 stone, you know. That's about 30 kilos. Horrible. That was years ago as well. I don't know if it's different now. Ronald, once people subscribe to your channel, I think they watch all the videos, but that's why they are disappointed with repeats. Okay, but don't forget, when I read those stories, right, okay, a couple of things there. So firstly, I say at the beginning, story 3, I first read out in 21, it's a repeat. So if you don't like repeats, you know it's coming. Okay, that's the first thing. The second thing is, when in 2021, when I read that, and I always take them from 21, 22, when I read those stories, I only had probably 10,000 subscribers. I've got 78,000 subscribers now. So the reason I don't think it's much of an issue, really, I don't get many complaints. Probably the complaints are from the guys who have been subscribed since back then, because a lot of guys write to me and say, listen, I don't mind the repeat stories. I actually enjoy them, hearing them again. But you see, the thing is, it's either that, or I just say, right, the upload's 2 stories. It's going to be 15 minutes this week. Now, remember, a lot of people who listen to those stories, and I know this from guys who tell me, there's truck drivers who drive interstate in America. There's guys who go to the gym and they just put headphones in, and they like it because it's a good half-hour video. There's other guys who do, because it's a Saturday, they do a fry-up and they have their breakfast, and that 30-minute video is just right. So, you know, I don't want to. I think it's better to put a repeat story and then cut it down. And I certainly don't want to make one up. You know, there's channels out there now who make stories up using AI. I keep saying this, and I can tell. I don't know how people who listen to them can't tell. So that's why I do it, to be honest with you, Ronald. Matthew, I am covered for the next 5 years, Peter, free of charge here. My work provides general health care, but no emergencies. My universities here provide emergency medical treatment. Yeah. I'm in the process of doing something which I can't really mention at the moment, but it might put me in good stead with government hospitals more than I am now. Watch this space, as I say. Scott says, yes, Pacific Cross are pretty good. I mean, they called me on WhatsApp from the UK, from Bangkok, and spoke to me for about an hour when I was in the UK. I was asking them lots of questions, and they even met me when I nearly went for them. And one of the guys met me in Subway at Terminal 21. We had a sandwich, and he answered all my questions, and they were pretty good. But it's just, at the time, I didn't really understand about preconditions, and my mindset was, why should I pay 40, 50, 60,000 a year, and if I have a heart attack, you won't insure me? But, you know, I read a story. What really spurred me on is because I read a story, or I watched a video, I can't remember. There was an Australian guy like me, who was living out here with a Thai girl, wasn't short of a few pounds or a few Australian dollars, wasn't rich, but he was living a nice life. He had something major, went into hospital. He got a 3 million baht bill. He was able to pay it, but it wiped him out, and he had to go back to Australia. Lost his Thai girlfriend, lost everything he had here, his car, his bike. He just had to go back. And that's kind of scary, because I've got too much invested here now. And I don't mean invested as in money, but, you know, I asked my girlfriend to finish work. She had a good job. She was on 25K a month in Thailand, in Bangkok. She was living in hospital accommodation, which was 2,500 baht a month. She'd come out of the hospital, all the food carts she could eat for 80 baht a day. So, you know, that was a big sacrifice for her, because she wanted to be with me on the understanding that I would take care of her. Like I would be a provider. You know, she's not on a salary, but, you know, like you do in England, if your wife's not working, you have to feed her, clothe her. And so that was a big decision for her. I persuaded her to get a mortgage rather than rent. So she's got a 2 million baht debt around her neck, which if I wasn't here paying the mortgage, she's going to get the house taken off her, isn't she? Everything we've bought in the house, she's going to either have to put in a truck and take back to Lopbury, or she's going to lose it. So when I say I've got so much invested here, I can't afford to, you know, have to go back to the UK, as it were. So that's another reason why I want to try and get insurance. Thailand Trader, the Chinese at Hin Lek Phai is the same as the UK. I live very close to there. I live in Hin Lek Phai, and I know exactly what you're talking about. You're talking about the Happy Wok, aren't you? Before the traffic lights. I've never eaten there. I've also heard what's it called? The one just off 102, the Charcoal Grill. They do English style Chinese food, and I've heard it's very, very good as well. I just think the ingredients are cheap. You know, I made that chicken chow mein today. It cost me next to nothing, and I got a big 4 portions out of it. I suppose it's different if you're eating duck or something like that. October is the end of rainy season. Can have some cloudy skies in Phuket. You'll need a Sea-Doo to drive around town. What's a Sea-Doo? You mean a plastic mat thing February is hot, but flights are cheap. I never used to worry about the weather. If I wanted to come to Thailand, I never used to sort of think, well, shall I go here? I used to just come. I think I want to go to Thailand. That's it. You know, if it rained, I stayed in a bar or in my room. And when it stopped, I was out and about again. Holden fan, have you thought about getting the glasses that has the camera in it? It would be good to take footage of your B-roll. Yeah, I have thought about it. But the reason I'm not going to get them is because, one, they're very limited. How long you can film for. I think it's like 12 minutes or something. And the other thing is you can't turn off the blinking light. I don't mean that the blinking light. I mean really the blinking light. My friend's got them, and if you record, there's a light that flashes. I suppose in theory you could put a bit of tape on there. Be pretty obvious, wouldn't it? No, I mean there's nowhere I need to film where I can't film, really. I mean, if it's so private, I just won't bother making a video there. Like I wouldn't go into, say, mind you saying that, it's no, I won't go there. Right. American Bridge again. I love the Microsoft Flight Simulator. I flew to Thailand in that game, landed at Bangkok in a 350/900 with a Singapore Airlines livery. Well, I used it years ago. I think it was 1994 on my laptop back then. It was pretty crappy, but I would imagine now I've seen gamers who've got they actually you can actually buy equipment that's makes it a real cockpit, but you're on a screen that wraps around you, and the guy's got the actual power buttons and the things that flick on and off, and altimeters and magic. No, you're not. You're all right. I'm not missing it that much. Fake background cloudy at the moment. Of course, it's a fake background. It's a green screen. If I was sitting at a beach, the trees would be waving about. Phil, thank you for your help, Peter, and everybody else regarding police shows. I think the bill was by far the best. That's dated as well now, isn't it? The bill. Gordon Jackson, that was it. Gordon Jackson. Yeah, I just couldn't take him professional, as a real hard nut kind of, secret intelligence kind of guy after seeing them in a butler's uniform in upstairs, downstairs. Yeah, you remember that one, did you? The lady who died in a boat. That was the only video when I put out that video. That was the only video. Like normally when I finish a video, like telling the stories, I say, that's it. Don't forget, if you're sitting on a story, blah, blah, blah. Thanks for watching. Have a good week, blah, blah. That was the only video at the end of the story. I just said, thanks, guys, and turned off because I kept welling up. I did it about 4 times. It's because it's such a sad story. I'm only human. The first time I read it, I actually had tears coming down so I read it again and again and again until I was getting used to it. And on the last take, I just got to the end. I could feel my eyes starting to well up again. I just got to the end. I looked at the camera and said, thanks, guys. And I was off, and I just about got it out there. That was a difficult one to do. Dog, that story was so sad, yeah. Scott Green, hi, Peter. My mate wants to come to Thailand, but he has type 2 diabetes. Can he get good treatment? There's no problem getting the treatment here in Thailand, but the problem is the cost. I mean, all the hospitals are good here, but you pay. You have to pay. I would suggest he gets travel insurance in the UK. Are you from the UK? My mate comes from wherever you are. Get travel insurance for a month for where you are, because it's hard to get insurance when you've got preconditions. And if he's got diabetes, I know you didn't ask about insurance, but they'll leave that off. If you've got high blood sugar, they say, we're not going to insure you for anything diabetes related. Chris, the bill, when police were actual police officers and not little woke pink hired. Okay, right. I'm kind of with you on that one, but I can't read it all out. Paul Harrison, the drowning story was so sad, brings a tear to my eye every time, even today. What did you think about that story about the Pattaya bar girl who got married and went to the UK? Is it just me? I just thought it was such a fascinating story because she gave details about guys who wasted time, and she said things like, I never understood why guys came into the bar and they say, oh, I'll be back later. And she was like, why do they need to say that? Why can't you say, I've had a nice time, I might be in another night? Why do they have to lie? And she was saying, we know that they used to say they're not married. She said, but we knew they were because they'd take their wedding ring off, and being white and it's so hot, within a day, you'd have a line where you'd had the band on, and she gives so many details about young guys and, guys who took her out the bar for a week and everything. I just thought it was a fascinating insight because you normally hear stories about bar girls from guys and being ripped off and stuff, but to have a real bar girl who tells you everything in detail, her story and why she didn't end up in a go-go bar and stuff, I thought it was fascinating. I'm surprised other people didn't like it. I'm not even sure what that is, but I'll put it up there. Lincoln James Davis, that's a mouthful, isn't it? Over there on Facebook. How you doing? What was your job before you retired and where did you work? Well, I was in the hotel industry. That's how I first came to Thailand. I used to travel all over the world. I worked for a French company called Accor, Sofitels, Novotels, Ibis, Mercure. And I first ended up, the first job I had in Thailand, I went up to Khon Kaen in 1994. I was part of the opening team of a Sofitel, lived there for 2 years in Khon Kaen. And then they sent me to Indonesia. I got a promotion to EAM, that's Executive Assistant Manager. Basically, when the GM's not there, I was in charge. But I'd fallen in love with Thailand at that time, and I just wanted to come back. So I packed it all in, which was a bit silly, really, because I had a good career. But I came here and got into business with my friend Tyler, Simon. We were doing IT. This is when the internet was new and made a decent living. Went back to the UK in the year 2000. And come back out I was constantly coming back out here because I had a business. I won't go into detail because I mentioned it so many times, but that's what I did. I was in the hotel industry. Okay, Lincoln James Davis. I've just read that, haven't I? Zaire, Democratic Republic of Congo. The capital is still Kinshasa. Okay, somebody told me something's changed. It's not called Zaire then, is it? Then that must be what's changed. Hi, Peter. Moved to Ban Kruk from a bit right opposite the beach. Got a beach dog. He's a cool dude. Been nicking me thongs at night. I keep forgetting to bring him in. 3 pairs and all the night for. Never mind. He probably, God bless him. Matthew, I first listened to your stories in the UK, Peter, but now it is extra special watching here in Thailand. I love to sit with a coffee and watch. Okay, thank you, Matthew. Because I'm always under the assumption that even though I make the effort I go out and I shoot all my own B-roll. Okay, I was a bit lazy for the last few months, but I've been going out now and I've been getting fresh B-roll. And I put myself in the corner of the video every 2 weeks. That's when I do the live stream when I have I'm in the live stream. When I don't have a live stream on a Sunday, I just do B-roll. I'm not in the video. So every 2 weeks I'm in it and every 2 weeks I'm not in it. But I always make the effort to try and make the background interesting but I always figured most people don't really watch it. I figured most people just put in a set of headphones and, they're listening in the gym or something like that. Which sometimes it used to make me think, why do I bother? Just, do it as a podcast. But, tell you what, time goes really fast when you're doing a live stream. I feel like I've been doing this for about half an hour, 40 minutes. I just had a look. We got, coming up for nearly 2 hours. Another 8 minutes, 2 hours. Okay, as long as you're asking questions, I'll keep going for a while. Pete Bailey, interesting thing for me lately, getting a lot of your older videos coming up on my feed from 3-5 years ago and been revisiting them too for a look at some I'd missed. The algorithms continue to work. Now, I'll tell you what that is. I put in a lot of effort about, I'd say about 6 or 7 months ago. So when I started, I was green. Everything on here, I've taught, everything on about YouTube, I've taught myself. Like this nice background, and I didn't know how to do that. You have to learn how to do it. But the good news is it's all out there on YouTube. If you're prepared to learn editing, I edit all my own videos, and so all the information is out there if you really want to do it. Now, with regards to the older videos shown up, I'll tell you why that is because I didn't realize how important the titles and the description were. So I used to just, in the early days, I'd put 3 stories from Thailand, volume 22 or something like that. Right. And in the description, I'd say, here are 3 viewers' stories that have been sent in by viewers, obviously, and I'm reading them out. Not quite that basic. And of course, YouTube didn't pick them up because there was no title there as such, And then I learned all this stuff, how important, and I went back inside those older videos and I changed all the titles, all the descriptions to be more interesting. Okay. So when you get the older ones come up now, the reason for that is because YouTube's picking them up now, because it looks for, if somebody types into YouTube, I don't know, finding a girlfriend in Thailand, for instance, if that's in the title, some of those words, it'll pull that older video up. And that's why you're seeing the older ones. It's because I spent a month literally manually. I think it was like 800 videos. No, it wasn't 800. It was 600. I think 600 videos I manually changed because they were just dead in the water. They, you know, all those videos, you can have 1,100 videos on YouTube, but maybe 100 are showing up because they were just dead ducks. You know, they were just sitting there. YouTube weren't showing them. But that's good news that you tell me that, because I know it's working. Ah, Mr. Franco, how are you? If you're enjoying the stream, give a like. He's doing this for you. 162 in the house, only 40 likes. It takes 2 likes to give him. Okay, thank you, Franco. Appreciate that. 163 in now. One more. Yeah, guys, if you're sitting in front of a PC, give me a like. It just helps push your channel out a little bit more. You know, I know some of you might be driving or walking and you can't, so I appreciate that. But it'd be nice if you could give me a thumbs up, as it were. The American Bridge. Yep, you are spot on. I got 3 screens and the thrust levels and a rudder pedals and such. I don't have a whole cockpit like some guys, but it's still fun. I can't bring all that there. But you're a relatively young guy, so I imagine that would appeal to you. I remember the first time I ever played on a game ever was I was working in Busan in Korea, in a hotel in Busan in Korea, and this is going back. God, it must have been I think it was 1989. I was working there, and I met my then Korean wife of 33 years, so I'm no longer with, and she brought. Do you remember the Nintendo game? The music kind of went. No, I'm not doing it properly. You had Mario, you know, and he had to jump across bridges, and you had these kind of like a windmill of flames, and you know, if you hit that, you were gone. That was the first one. I used to stay up all night playing it. You know, I wish I kept it. Actually, it'd probably be worth something now. But I know now, I don't play games now, but I know they're so sophisticated now. And the thing is, because of the RAM and the memory or whatever it takes is so high in a PC now, if you get a gamer's laptop or a gamer's computer, the graphics, I've seen graphic like videos of them. It's almost like, yeah, the real thing. Pete Bailey, love the bill on the buses too. See, I used to like on the buses, but I look, because you can still find it all on the internet. I look at it now and it looks kind of corny, cheesy, but at the time it was fun. I never knew why they chose that guy. You know, the second guy, not the guy who drove the bus. The guy, he was very talented, actually, good musician. But the guy who played the conductor, you know, with the awful teeth, you know, and he, you know, this bus would stop on an estate somewhere, and some sexy lady would be in an eye down looking out the window, and he'd wink and he'd say to his mate, the driver, Reg Varney, was it? And he'd go in, and you think that wouldn't happen in real life. Look at him. Right. Pat, do you get perks from having worked for them for such a long time? I had a lot of perks while I worked for them, but the problem is I didn't really see out my time. You know, I only went, I could have, if I'd have stayed with them, I'd have gone all the way. I'd have probably been like the #1 guy running a Sofitel on Sukhumvit Road, like the top guy. I'd be at 58, that sort of age, you know. But, you know, I was a bit silly, really, because I'd been in Konkan for 2 years. I really fell in love with Thailand, the Thai people, different era back then when I left in 1996. They promoted me, as I say, to the #2, and it was an IBIS, because how they tended to do it was when you got promoted, you'd go to, if you're in a 5-star hotel and you get promoted, you go to a 4-star hotel and then back to it when you know, hit the level. Or if you're in something like a Mercure, which was their 3-star hotel, and you got promoted, you'd go to an IBIS. It just so happened I went from a Sofitel all the way to an IBIS, but an IBIS in Asia was classed as a 3-star hotel, not so much as a budget hotel. Look at the one in Soi 4. But I just hated it, you know. I mean, nothing wrong. I mean, Indonesia, there's nothing wrong with it, but after Thailand, I just couldn't handle it. And then I seen this opportunity where Simon and I could make money. I could come back and live full time. It was very easy to get long-term visas back then. It wasn't strict like now. And I came back, and you know, I had a lot of good years here, a lot of good years, and I enjoyed myself. And you know, we made money, and I lived here. I lived on Sukhumvit 24. I've lived on 38. I've lived on 22. I've always lived on that kind of Sukhumvit belt, as it were. I forgot what the question was. I'm rabbiting on, but I hope you got your answer there, most of it anyway. It's still raining. I can see. She's out. Oh, it's too late. She's gone back in. She's out with the umbrella. Can I get it? Yeah. Look, can you see on the CCTV? Still raining. Yeah. Oh, well, won't be. So I'm supposed to be going out to film a bar tonight, quite a big bar. It's their official opening. I'll take the car if I have to, but I'd rather take the bike. Pete Bailey, Brit comedy was all we had back in the day in Aussie. Okay, I didn't know that. Some of the stuff they showed on TV in the 70s, you couldn't put on TV now. You know, do you remember Alf Garnett? Mind your language, please, sir. I mean, you just couldn't. The lefties would be all over the place, wouldn't they? Ronald, I still think it's best if you sit in front of a backdrop like now when reading the stories. I like the walk around videos, but videos too, but they distract me from the stories. Okay, I mean, I get guys tell me that they like it when I'm not in the video, and they like it. I can't please all the people all the time. So as I say, what I'm doing now is 1 week I'll do it where I'm in the corner and there's B-roll, and then another time I'll do it where it's just B-roll, because it's just so much easier to do it when I'm not in the video. And it's nice when I have a Sunday where I don't have when I can do it like that on a Saturday. It takes me much less time to make the stories video than it does when I'm in it, because the cuts are more difficult when I mess up. And it just gives me a bit of a weekend then when I don't have a Sunday stream, and I can get the Saturday stories over with quicker. But I've taken your comments on board. Yeah, you couldn't show that now, Scott. Ronald, why don't you make a video where you walk around, stop to chat with people you meet on your way? It's just not me. I don't do that. I mean, people are different. I've seen guys all over Thailand who do that. I've seen Bangkok Pat do it. I am actually a little bit shy to meet when I meet people one-on-one for the first time. Although you might not believe this, although I've got a YouTube channel and there's 163 people in now, even more on a Sunday, to just go up to somebody stone cold and talk to them. It's just not me. I don't like it. I don't want to do it. And you'd be surprised how many people don't want to be on camera. I think a lot of the time when you see YouTubers stop and talk to people in the street, I think they pre-arrange it. They'll stop them and say, look, do you mind if you give a little interview? I've got YouTube. And then they'll say, yeah, okay. And then they do it. But you just walk up to somebody, stick the microphone in their face. A lot of people wouldn't like it. Okay, thank you, Paul. Jamie Mick on Facebook. Hi, Peter. Hope all is well. Is very well. Thank you, Jamie. Thank you for being here. Brian Barton. I agree with Ronald. The static background doesn't distract from the stories, which are always interesting and entertaining. The static background doesn't distract from the stories. Okay. Michael, I bet Bangkok in the day you were a pinball wizard. That was a Who, wasn't it? No, it was different, Brian, back then. I mean, I remember, back when my heyday here really was about 97, 98, because I'd finished in Konkan. I went over to Indonesia for a few months, didn't like it, come back. I was doing the IT with Simon, but we had to do the work, but we could do it when we wanted. So I was out most nights. My wife was okay. Koreans are like Japanese. They don't they're not like Thais, where were you? What time you be? What time are you coming in? As long as you don't do anything too obvious, as it were. So that was my kind of heyday, 98. Yeah, 97, 98. I was going into Therme. That was when they're open all night. Cowboy was different. Nana was a lot friendlier place. It was nice, going down to Pattaya, Walking Street. There was no really neon there. It was all coloured bulbs, and there wasn't the money invested in the bars like you see now. You'd go into a go-go bar and it'd have some like Christmas tree lights around the bar, and like I say, coloured bulbs, and all the girls used to dress the same. They'd have knee-high white boots or black boots, and it's just different times. I think they were more. They weren't so used to foreigners, and I think they treated us better back then. Yeah, it's very industrialized, I call it now. Leave your wallet at the door, come back in 10 minutes, and it'll be empty. Dog, Peter, what do you dislike the most about Thai women? I think the jealousy, really, because there's no need for it. Like, mine's okay now. I can go out and she won't blink an eyelid. But the first year, I've talked about this a lot. So when me and my wife split up, I was with her for 33 years, right? And I wasn't ready to have a full-time relationship and live with somebody. And my girlfriend originally, she was still at the hospital in Bangkok. I tried to explain it to her, and I'm explaining it to you now. And I said, look, I've just come out of a 33-year relationship. I'm not ready to have a full-time live-in relationship. You're a nice girl, but let's just do 2 nights a week for now. And I've got to do all this, and I need time. And I explained it to her, but her mentality was, no, the only reason you don't want me here is because you want to go with other girls. And it Didn't matter what I did or what I said. You know, I'd send her. I remember one time I was sitting in a little Thai restaurant and the table, sorry, my nose, bloody itchy. I was sitting in a little Thai restaurant and the tables were kind of for 4 people, kind of like a bench seat. They weren't individual seats, and they were like this. Okay, and I had some Thai food. She was at work. This is the first year. Took a picture, and it just so happens on the next table there was a girl, not on my table, on the next table, and she had her back towards me. She was eating on the next table, and I could see her back. So I took this picture of the food, sent it to her because I thought, you know, it was really nice looking food. And it came back like 20 seconds later with a red ring around this girl. And it's like, what do you say? You know, I mean, look, she's some stranger having a meal. So, you know, that was the only thing I wouldn't say I didn't like about them. And the other thing, it really is, well, no, not really. I mean, yeah, no, I won't go down that rabbit hole. But really, that one, the jealousy thing, but that's gone now. She's not she'd go to the toilet. We'd be sitting at this, like I said, this is the first year. So we'd be in a mall in a food court. I'd have a plate of fried rice, and she'd say, "Oh, I'm going to the toilet," and she'd gone. I'd finished my fried rice, and I'd be looking at my phone. I wasn't doing anything with other girls. I was just looking at my messages, looking at videos and stuff. And I think she's been gone a long time. Where the hell has she gone? And I'd look around and she stood behind me looking over my shoulder. And she'd been there maybe 10 minutes. So I'm on my phone and she'd been there watching my phone to see I wasn't speaking with anyone else, you know. So that was really kind of a bit irritating and trying to get it through her head that, look, no, I'm not interested in other women. And then it got to the point where I said, okay, look, you can come Monday to Friday because, I didn't want to lose her. She's a nice girl. And she didn't think I was taking her seriously. So I said to her, okay, you can come to my apartment. You can stay Monday to Friday, but weekends I can't, you can't come weekends because I need the time for YouTube, which was kind of true. But I just need a little bit of space, And those days I was still kind of going out a little bit. And she'd call me up on a Saturday and she'd say, oh, how are you? I've just finished work. And I say, yeah, I'm all right. What, everything okay? She said, well, I'm off tomorrow, but I'm not allowed to come round, am I? And then that's how they work. They're very clever, But other than that, nothing really. Ronald, the first game I played on the TV was a kind of tennis game. I know exactly the one you're thinking of, or you played, but only at friends' houses. We never had electric games at home. That was the one. It was like a wooden box, and you had 2 knobs on it, right? And it was very, very basic. And a ball went back, like a square went back and forth, and you could move the bat by turning this knob. And then, if you missed it, there was a point to them. And that actually plugged directly into your TV set, didn't it? We had a black and white TV then. Right, I think we're at the end of the road, gentlemen. I've got one more comment here, unless anything else comes in. Over 2 hours now. I say gentlemen. I don't know if there's any ladies in. If there is, we haven't had any comments from ladies. We occasionally do. Andrew, I was born in 1985, and I remember Saturday nights in the late 80s and early 90s. The Bill was the highlight of Saturday night. Guess what, Pete? You're nicked. Okay. Yeah, I mean, you look back on some of those shows now. Some of the shows now are just total crap, aren't they? I don't watch live TV at all now because I can't stand adverts. When I was in the UK, just before I came out here, I had a Sky box, and the Sky box, you can record up to 2 channels at once. And what you could do is you could set it up. So if there was a series that's on each week, you could set it up to record the series each week. So what I used to do is if there was like that Savile documentary, for instance, that came out, if that was in 3 parts, an hour this week, an hour next week, an hour next week, what I used to do, I didn't watch the first one. I'd set it up to record. And after the 3 weeks had been recorded, I'd then settle down and watch it in one go. And when the adverts were there, I just whizzed through them. So, the hour show basically was about 40 minutes without the adverts. And I could watch it in one sitting. I didn't have to wait the following week. But I don't watch any live TV out here. Pat, wouldn't it be heaven to be on her 30-baht hospital cover for ties? I say. Scott, Deep Purple Rules. All right. Holden fan, I'm a lady. Are you really? I'm a lady. The first game console I had was at Atari. I remember those. I do remember the name. Do you know what? I've seen you in the stream week after week, and I didn't realize you were female. I wish I'd known earlier. I don't know why, but is it true? Are you female? Because I used to get in England on the live streams. That when I used to get 600 people in during COVID. I used to get quite a few women in, and it was always nice to have a few women in. Ronald, I think the religion they practice in Thailand, Vietnam, Bali, etc., is more agreeable than the dominant religion in Indonesia, Malaysia. I think that explains it, Peter, why you prefer living in Thailand. Okay, you're kind of right. I didn't want to, because people jump on you when you say the wrong sort of thing, right? But yeah, I mean, look, when I was in Indonesia and I wanted to have a drink, I'd go to a shop that I knew sold a bottle of whiskey, for instance, and what would happen? There was nothing on display, and I'd go in there. And I'd say, can I have a bottle of whatever the whiskey was at the time? And it really was like they'd go to the back of the shop, and there was a cabinet with no glass. It was wood. They'd open it up, and you could see bottles of liquor in there. And they'd take a brown bag, put it in, twist the top, and it was like that because of the rules over there. I don't know. It's probably not like that now, and I don't think Malaysia's like that. But it was just, I didn't. If I want to have a beer, I think it was called Binto beer in Indonesia. But again, I'm going back years and years and years. It was just there wasn't really any. The only entertainment kind of places with bars that you could find back then were in the hotels. I worked in a hotel in Jakarta called the Borobudur Hotel, big hotel. I was only there for a while. They had bars and cocktail lounges where you could actually buy drinks. As I remember, in Indonesia, when I was in the Ibis, I'm just trying to think if we had a bar or not. I think we had a puny little bar, but it's very basic. But you didn't really have bars out in the town, in the street, like here in Thailand. Dog says the loss of face thing can also be annoying. Oh, I'll tell you something else that annoys me about her is sometimes she'll do something that winds me up. She's a great hoarder. She puts stuff. I'm a guy, I like things in their place. If this shelf is for medicine, then don't put anything on there except medicine. If you're putting cups and glasses on this shelf, don't start putting socks and the dog's food in there. I'm very I make my bed when I get up in the morning. I'm not one of those guys who jumps out of bed and just leaves it like that all day. I make my bed. When I lived on my own, I'd wash the bed in regular. Everything's, I've got shelves over here, and everything's like my cameras are on the top one, my stands are on the second one. Paints and things are on this one. Over there, I've got my drill bit, and I'm an order kind of guy. Where she's this sort of girl. She won't throw anything away, even those little plastic spoons you get in ice cream. She'll wash them up and keep them, and I have to go around secretly throwing them away. That kind of winds me up quite a bit. And we'll get into an argument, and she'll wind me up to the point where now I want to talk about it, and then she'll say, "I know, speak," and my bolts are going to fly out my head because she's wound me up so much. But that doesn't happen very often, else I wouldn't be in a relationship with her. Bit early for me. Pull yourself a jack. I actually broke my rule yesterday when I went to Sunset Scooters and Big Bikes. They had 4 kegs of beer, which they were pouring on a tap. They were giving away glasses of it for free because it was an event. And they had it on top, and the guy tried to offer me one. I thought, it's 5 o'clock. It's too early for me. So I took one, and it went down really well. And I took a second one. I got halfway through it, and I felt like vomiting because I'm just not used to drinking. And I was with, I met a guy who had seen me on YouTube, a guy called Keith. I don't think you'll watch this, Keith, but if you do, nice to meet you. And I spent quite a lot of time talking with James, the owner of Superfish. And I spent quite a lot of time talking with Johnny Ajo. Used to call himself Johnny Something's Happening, and I think he was filming it. I didn't film it because I knew he was going to film it, and I didn't want to step on his toes. Okay, Andrew, hold and fang, go to hold and go, or otherwise you will have to go to Ford Man. Okay. Ranksit Vision, wow, live's still going. Well, I was planning to go to the gym after this, but to be honest with you, I've kind of lost my motivation a little bit. It was pouring down with rain. I think it's stopped now. Yeah, it does look like it's stopped. Let me get it up on camera so you can see it. I'll put the screen big. Hang on. I can't move my camera around, so I won't. It takes me ages to set it up. Let's put it on the street. We'll put it on the back. See, there's no rain there now. That plastic thing there, I went out and bought that because I've got plastic. The shoes, she never puts them in. These are shelves, and the shoes go in there because there's no room indoors. And they used to fill up with water when it rained, even though there's a cover over the top here. There's a cover comes out to about here, but they used to fill up with water. I went out and bought this for about, I think it's 20 baht or something. No, it was more than that, 50 baht, and cover it up. So that solved that problem. And the one there, that's my lawnmower and strimmer. I was going to get a little plastic shed, but there's nowhere to put it now because see at the see this here, that white thing above my finger, that's actually the drainage. They didn't put it underground. It costs a lot more. So it comes down and it goes behind that water tank. There's actually a drain. So there's nowhere to actually put a plastic shed now. So, but her plants are coming on. I mean, I do this on Facebook. You look, they grow, and that's, I don't know if you can see them. They go in sometime. I forget what they're called. You can't really see them, can you? Anyway, I'm doing a Facebook special now. Don't want to do that. Yeah, so in answer to your question, the reason I'm still going is because I've got nothing else to do. I normally 2 hours a cut-off point, but I can't go outside and do anything now, and I've lost my motivation to go to the gym. So I'll probably go. What's tomorrow? Sunday. I've got nothing going on tomorrow, so I definitely got the gym tomorrow. Peter, have you been to South America? Never been, Scott. Always wanted to go Mexico, South America, and I won't get around to it now. See, when I worked for a corps, I worked for an independent agent in Hong Kong for quite a while, and I'd be in between jobs and I'd take on other jobs. Like maybe I ran a nightclub in Orchard Road called Top 10 in Orchard Road for about 6 months. So I used to have to take what I could get. When I'd finished a contract, I always had quite a bit of money in the bank. So sometimes I could take a month off and I'd call round kind of agents I knew. Once I got on with the corps, then I was working constantly, but I was under their Asia Pacific office, which is based in Bangkok. So they tended to keep me in Southeast Asia, which is fine by me. But before then, when I was much younger, I was working for an agency in Hong Kong, and sometimes they'd have something for me, sometimes they wouldn't. I actually did a year in through an agency. That hotel in Bombay that was attacked by I can't say the word, but begins with T. I was there a year before that, the Taj Mahal Hotel. I worked there and lived there for a year, and I left. Where did I go from there? Oh, I went straight up to Khon Kaen. That's when I went up to Khon Kaen. And if I'd have been there a year earlier, I wouldn't be sitting here today, because they were looking for foreigners to, off, as it were. Holden fan. Yes, I'm a female in my mid-40s. I do comment on your Facebook page from time to time. I'm the lady that asked about traveling to Thailand solo a while ago. Okay, yeah, I do remember. I hope I gave you a good answer then. Why didn't I pick up on your name there? Maybe you got a different name on Facebook. Well, there's a blast from the past. I haven't seen you in a live stream for a long time. Napoleon blown apart. Hey, patience backdrop. Hope you're. What are you saying there? Oh, Pete, you didn't put a space in it. Hey, nice backdrop. Hope you're doing well. Always watching on catch up. Oh, okay. Nice to see you in a live, because I do remember a lot of the names that were in the streams from the UK. I don't see them anymore. Either they've dropped out, got bored with me and moved on, or either it's a different time of the day and they watch on. Because I do get a lot of people watch on the catch up. Because even though there's 161 people watching live now, but if you look at this in a month's time, about 4,000 people will have watched it. So a lot of people do watch the catch up, just because of the time of day. That's a good point, Sherlock. Not many people would put a flower. Not many guys would put a flower in their profile pics. Mind you, though, that could go the other way, couldn't it? Because there are a lot of guys who like other guys. Pete, great stream. Peter, best you water the daisies by now. Now I can hold it for a lot longer now. I don't know why, but I've got the luxury of my own personal toilet right behind this wall, because this house has got two toilets. One is the ensuite in the off the bedroom, which got a shower, toilet, normal sort of thing, and then there's one off the lounge right behind me here. We never use it. I only use it to go for a pee, for instance. I can't put it any simpler than that. And it's great, if I want to use the lavatory and she's having a shower, I don't have to wait. I can just go here, so it's a lot easier now. And the other thing is, in the UK, I used to drink so much beer. If you remember, I had a cold case down here and a bottle of whiskey on the table, because I knew I wasn't going anywhere. We were doing long streams. Everyone was getting drunk together, and I'd be, constantly, I'd do 4 or 5 cans of beer on a live stream. I had to let it out, didn't I? I used to have to go out. Roddo, I've heard it's good. I've got to say, KL is a great city to visit. Andrew, can't see anything. Okay, on my CCTV. Ranksit Vision. Peter, do you still have factory tires on the ADV? Yeah, I mean, I bought it brand new. I've had it about, I think I've had it about 2 years. I'd have to check. It's amazing. When I was in Bangkok in a year, I did about 1,000 kilometers because I lived in the center. You know, I didn't like to go out on it that much because you know what it's like in Bangkok. You're just weaving in, and I used to get my arms used to get tired because you're weaving in and out of cars. I even got to the point where because I'm in Sukhumvit Soi 8, if I wanted to go to Terminal 21, I'd go on the bike, but I was constantly like weaving between cars slowly with my feet on the ground. And then when you come out, you've got to try and get into the flow of the traffic. You've got the lights at Asok, that if they're red, you're sitting there forever and a day sweating. And then you got to do a U-turn and go back to Soi 8. And in the end, I used to just jump on the train at Nana. It's so much easier. I'd ride the bike to the top of Soi 8, park up at the money exchange there, up to Nana BTS, over to Asok, and then it was just that easy. It's a strange question though. Why are you asking me if I've still got the same tires? I've actually now I've just clocked over 9,000 kilometers on it because here I use it every day, and because I'm 8 miles away from the center of town, I often go into town sometimes twice a day, so I'm really clocking up the miles on it. But it's a great bike. It's really good, you know. Somebody said to me, "Would you get the 350 next time?" But I don't think I need it. The 160 is excellent. Ronald, Kuala Lumpur, yeah. I did work in Malaysia years ago. Again, I always say years ago because I'm retired now, 66. But I worked in a hotel in Penang. That's an island off just close. It's Malaysian territory, but it's not part of the mainland. I remember when I was there, we had a lot of problem with rats, not in the hotel, but outside. That's something that's different here now. I used to see, like 25 years ago in Bangkok, every time I went out, I'd see rats everywhere. You know, they're coming out of black bags, even in Nana Plaza, you know, the Spirit House, you'd be sitting at a bar and they put things on the Spirit House, apples and things, and there's a hole and the rats had come out and they'd be eating the apples and stuff. They weren't scared. The bars are booming with music and people are there. And I used to watch them. Horrible, you know, big cockroaches running all across the street. But you don't see that now. I think in the 3 years that I lived in Bangkok, I think I've seen a rat once, and that was at night in a kind of dark hidden corner. Yes, too early for Chang, then Leo. Pat, yes, Orchard Road in Singapore. So it was Orchard Towers and it was on the 4th floor. It was a big place. It was a converted cinema. It had a very seedy reputation, but I was on at the time I was on 5,000 Singaporean dollars a month plus my accommodation. I had to do my own food, obviously, but 5,000 Singapore dollars back then was a lot of money. And I had a Singaporean guy who kind of did the day-to-day stuff and all the staff, of course. Steve, how you doing? Morning from Edinburgh, Scotland. I've been to Edinburgh. Do you know, this might be a funny thing to say, but Edinburgh Castle, as great it is, I enjoyed Stirling Castle much more than Edinburgh. I don't know why. I just felt it was more kind of personal. You know, Edinburgh Castle is kind of, well, it gets thousands of tourists every year, doesn't it? Bottle Baby, another blast from the past. Thai Airlines have started charging extra for baggage. Have they really? It'd be nice to know. If you find out, let us know, because that's the sort of information people want to know. I remember you were always in Ed Sweeney's streams. I always remember your name, and you were in mine a lot more when I was in England. It must be the time difference, I guess. What's for dinner tonight? Missing a Penang curry. I don't really eat too much at night. I try to get my fill in at lunchtime. I don't eat breakfast. If I badly want a pizza or fish and chips or something, I'm not eating that at the moment. But if I did, I'd have it for lunch. And at night, I normally have. What did I have the other day? Last night I went out. I was in Bangkok. I had my favorite dish, which they call hoi lai, hoi being the clam. So they're little baby clams about that size. And what they do, they stir fry them and put chilies and a nice green vegetable. And they're really they go down really well with a beer, you know, because you have to pick the muscles out of them, so you can't waft them down. And I had that, and that goes really. I have it very, very spicy. I can eat more spicy than my girlfriend. She's amazed at that. So I had that, and I always have that, whatever I have when I go to Bangkok. And then I had this is last night, chicken with cashew nuts, which they do really well there. It's, you know how much we paid for it? You won't believe me, because of the government scheme. So just before I tell you what we paid, and the rice, I only had a slither of rice. She had the rice. So they have a government scheme here because they're trying to encourage Thai people to spend, go out and have dinner, stay in hotels. So for the period of 4 months, the government substitute anything they buy by 1,000 baht a month. And what I mean by that is they pay 60%. So if you go to buy a meal and the meal, I think it's 60%. If the meal is 100 baht, then you only pay 40 baht because the store will get their 60 baht from the government. So we had last night chicken cashew nuts, hoi lai, and a rice, and she ended up paying 22 baht for that because of the government scheme. 22 baht. I mean, it's laughable. It's 50 pence, isn't it? What do you get for 50 pence in the UK now? Bag of marbles. No, marbles will be expensive, wouldn't they? Steve, how's your Singapore noodles? Chow mein. Made them today, Steve. Much better, but I think next time I need to put in slightly more soya sauce because even though I didn't have the right ingredients last time, they actually tasted slightly better last time. I've uploaded them on Facebook. You go and have a look at them. Holden fan, Peter, you sure did give me some good advice regarding traveling to Thailand. A friend would like to travel with me to Thailand too, as I'm going to quit. I'm not sure what that word is. Quit the trip to Thailand has been pushed out. Okay. I think I know what you mean there. So you'd be surprised how many women ask that same question because it is very, very safe for women to come to Thailand. A lot of women come here on their own. The thing is, what you've got to watch out for here is little confidence tricks, this sort of thing. You're getting a tuk-tuk and he'll tell you, oh, I've got a friend who's got a shop. They sell precious stones and they're so much cheaper than Europe. You can buy them and sell them. It'll pay for your holiday. People just try and, not all, but some unscrupulous people, they will try and scam you. But there's no one's going to pull a gun on you or hit you on the head with a brick or rob you, or they might try and con your bill a little bit. But if you're switched on, if you're sensible, they won't get one over on you. Do you like Chatham? Yes, I do like Chatham. I was there last week filming some B-roll of Chatham Viewpoint. It's too quiet for me to live there. I wouldn't want to live there. It's too quiet. But it's a lovely beach town. I think the beach is very, very nice. Dog, what are the best cities to visit in Isan? Which ones did you like the most? Because I was working in the hotel, I didn't really go out to visit many cities. What we used to do day trips out to the dam up there. There's a Khon Kaen about 30 miles away. The Thai staff would invite us to certain locations. So I have been to some villages not villages, some towns up there. I mean, I've done Udon Thani, Udon Ratchathani, Sisikit, Chiang Mai. So I've been to quite a few, but I remember how long ago it was. You're talking, I left there in 96. What am we now? 2006. You're talking 30 years ago. I mean, I haven't been back to Khon Kaen since I left there in 96. And I would imagine I wouldn't recognize it because Khon Kaen back in those days, I remember flying into Hong Kong, it was on a TriStar. A TriStar is the jet they have 3 engines, 2 on the back of the tail, and the third one is at the top of the tail. That's a TriStar. And we got it from the old Dong Mueang airport, and it stopped it was a milk run, basically. It stopped at Udon Thani, then Udon Ratchathani. It did 2 stops on the way, and then it finally landed at Khon Kaen airport. And I remember we were the only plane in the airport. We walked off the plane, across the tarmac to a small building. There wasn't really any security, and then about a while later, one of those a couple of guys were pulling a truck with some of the suitcases on it. It wasn't electric or anything. It was very primitive. I think it's all changed there now. Everywhere, doesn't matter where you live, Thailand or anywhere else, everywhere's improving, isn't it? Steve, you've just read that, haven't I? Rangsit Vision. I was curious how the tires ride in the rain. This is Tada, by the way. Okay, right. They're pretty good because what amazes me sometimes, they're not like straight lines on the tires. They're kind of like, I don't know how to describe it. You'll have to look at ADV. I do about a 30-degree bank when it's raining. On the dry weather, I'll do a 45 bank. So I'm kind of like, it kind of scares my girlfriend, but I've ridden bikes all my life. So we've got some good windy roads on the highway here. And I'll do it in the day, not at night, because if there's any loose gravel or oil spillage or anything, you'll be off the bike. I come off loads of times when I was a kid. Luckily didn't do too much damage, but I'll do a 45-degree angle around a bend. She like craps herself. But at night, in the rain, only 30%, you know, because but the tires on the ADV are wide. But it amazes me. Like there'll be a little Honda Wave in front of me, and the tires must be, I mean, they're like that, and they're square as well, whereas the ADV tires are rounded. So you can lean, and those Honda Waves, the tires like that, and those guys go over, and I'm thinking he's going to come off that, but they never seem to. Hi, Pat. Yeah, coming up to another 2,000, it'll be 80,000, but it's been a long, slow road, Pat. The number of YouTubers I've watched over the years who have done 100,000 in a year. I mean, look at, what was his name? Retired Working For You. He puts out very good videos. He went from nothing to 100,000 in about 6 months. And then before he moved down to Samir, he was at 400,000. I've been doing this for nearly 6 years now, and it's such a slow process. Look at that girl in Pattaya. What's her name? The Pattaya Queen, is it? She calls herself. Well, over 1 million subscribers. Who else is big? Some of the Pattaya YouTubers as well, over 100,000. You know, I'm one guy telling stories, aren't I? At the end of the day, so I'm not flying off the shelf, as it were. I'm happy with what I do, though. Pez, is it always playing catch up on your live streams? But was happy to sit and listen this morning in New York with my coffee. Good to have you in a live stream. This has been an extra long one today. I normally do a maximum of 2 hours. I'm looking at 2 hours 30. The reason I'm still going is because, one, it's raining. I'm not going to the gym now. I will have to pack up soon though, because I'm 6 o'clock. I need to be at the bar where I'm filming. Right, I'm going to whiz through this. I am going to call it a day because I forgot about the bar. Because what time is it now? Where am I looking? 4:30, 5:30. I've only got an hour and a half. Right, very quickly. Dog, there are still cockroaches wandering in Bangkok. You cannot sit too long on stair steep in city. Yeah, I'm not saying they're not there. I just don't see as many. Pat, again, we must have crossed paths as an ex-flight attendant. We get to know the duty manager well. Okay, probably. Holden fan, Jetstar are going to start charging customers to carry baggage from next February, Peter. They will lose a lot of business due to it, I think. Yeah. Pat again, stir-fried clam with chili, jam, and pra. You have good taste. Okay, yeah. I don't think there's any jam in there, though. Sorry, Peter. Queensland. Okay, no problem. Ronald, no, people will pay. The competition is worse. Holden fan again. I'm not putting these up because I'm going to try and whiz through them now. So is New Zealand expensive rip-off. Phil, I went to Udon Thani last year. I thought it was amazing. Again, it's probably totally different from when I went there. Pat, I love the old Hong Kong airport. That was something coming into that, wasn't it? You know, see people getting changed in their apartments. And another one from you. When will the honeymoon be, and where are you taking Kun So? Now, there will be no honeymoon. We've talked about it. There's no need. She's fine. I've made a will. I put her in the will, so she's going to be looked after. Pat, okay, I've read that one. Getting there now. Kiwi Chris, right in at the last minute. Have you been to that Boeing 474 parked up in Prambury? I can't find it on Google Satellites view, but I've seen videos of it. Do you know, that's really weird, because I went to Prambury 2 weeks ago to do some filming, and I was on all those nice country roads, and I could see it over there. And I said to Saw, and she was on the back, no, we're in the car, we've been to, that's right. And I said, look at that, look. I said, that hasn't landed there. I wonder where that's come from. And I didn't give it a second thought. No, I should find it and go there one day. Ricardo, it's amazing how, Rotty Lady has 830,000 subscribers just for making pancakes. Yeah, but she doesn't just make pancakes, does she? She does live, and she sings and everything. And I suppose she gets the sympathy vote as well, doesn't she? I've seen a video where she, well, I don't know all the details, so I won't say that. But yeah, that's a lot. I remember when she started up, you know, but she's a pretty girl, and she does more than just sit in an office, does she? Sean, how you doing? Time to run. Will it rain? Maybe not. I think it's stopped here now, Sean. Right, I'm going to make this one the last one. Paul Harrison, Eva Air is the way forward. 223 kg of checked baggage, no extra cost. Okay, not sure about that. I haven't flown for a long time. Guys, it's been a long one. It's been 2.5 hours. Thanks for all your comments, super chats, and all the rest of it, as they say. I've got an hour and a half to sort everything out and get over to the bar where I am tonight. Next scheduled stream will be 8 p.m. next Sunday. And if you haven't looked at the markets I did, you know, the food markets, it's up there. Go and have a look. It's a good video. But I'll see you all next week. Thanks for watching. Have a good weekend, and I'm going. All right, bye.